Chapter 282. Just as this thought surfaced in Lin Jier's mind, he suddenly recalled a dream he had one night. In the dream, he and Soft Bun did some indescribable things. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jier's face reddened even further, and even the tips of his ears felt a little hot. That dream of his. Was it what Song Chaoshi had said? That he wanted to sleep with her? Alright, even if Song Chaoshi's words and Xia Shangzhou's words were true, and he did like Soft Bun. What about Yao loves ice cream? I've never thought of sleeping with Yao loves ice cream, so does that mean that I don't like Yao loves ice cream? But if he didn't like Yao she craving ice cream, why would he help her when she was bullied in the game? Why was she unhappy? Why did he let her play games and teach her how to kill? Why did Xia Shangzhou have a screenshot of him riding the motorcycle with her, but he also had a screenshot of him dying with her? Just as Lu Benlai had said earlier, he would take good care of Yao Yao in the game, but it was purely out of friendship. What about him? Is this also friendship? But in all the years he had lived, he had never made friends with a female before. Why did such a thing happen when it came to Yaoshi? Also, Xia Shangzhou said that he was flirting with Yaoshi in the game? Could his actions be called flirting? But of all the girls in the world, it wasn't as if he had never been matched with a girl before. How could he treat Yaoshi like this? This was so much harder than solving a complicated math problem. Why did he have to encounter such a thing? It was simply toxic. The more Lin Jier thought about it, the more confused he became. In the end, he couldn't help but flip around in frustration. Could it be that Yaoshi reminded him of Soft Bun? But why did Yaoshi feel so much like Soft Bun? It felt like a tongue twister, and the more Lin Jier thought about it, the more confused he became. In the end, he couldn't help but shake his head forcefully to get rid of the confusing thoughts in his head. However, less than 2 seconds later, Lin Jier began tossing and turning on the bed once more. In the end, a hint of anticipation surfaced in his mind. If only Soft Bun and Big White Chubby were the same person. On the weekend of this week, all the freshmen in G University would take their exams together. The subject was Introduction to the Basic Principles of Marxism. This examination was organized by the school. All the freshmen were randomly assigned to the examination hall. Actually, this kind of examination was mainly to let everyone have a higher level of understanding. Although the invigilator was G University's homeroom teacher, since the exam was not that important, most of the time, homeroom teachers would send their own students to invigilate the exam on their behalf. Shi Yao's examination hall was on the 4th floor, whereas Leng Nuan and the others were on the 1st floor. After the 4 of them parted ways on the 1st floor while Shi Yao was on her way up the stairs, she received He Tiantian's complaints in the WeChat group. Yao Yao, when we were eating earlier, I was still complaining that you weren't in the same examination hall as us. But now, I'm glad that you're not in the same examination hall as us. As Shi Yao climbed up the stairs, she asked with her phone in her hand, "What's wrong?" Jiang Yu said, "Our supervisors are Farce Qin and Han Jing." Following Jiang Yu's reply, He Tiantian took a photo and sent it over. Han Jing wasn't in the photo, only Qin ran. She looked much thinner than before, and even though she had put on some makeup, the dark circles around her eyes were still apparent. Shi Yao took a quick glance at the photo before turning to Leng Nuan's message. "Yao Yao, who's your invigilator?" Chapter 283. It just so happened that Shi Yao was already at the entrance of the examination hall. She replied with a, "Let me take a look," before turning her gaze toward the classroom. A tall man dressed in a simple white t-shirt was standing in front of the podium, tidying up the examination papers. Even though his head was slightly lowered, preventing her from seeing his face clearly, Shi Yao still recognized him with a single glance. Can't be, right? What a coincidence. Lin Jier is actually the invigilator? Shi Yao's footsteps toward the classroom instinctively froze. It was only when an examinee walked over and reminded her that she was blocking the way that Shi Yao finally snapped out of her daze. She hurriedly apologized while taking half a step to the side. It was only when the examinee she was blocking finally entered the examination hall that she realized that this was her examination hall as well. All she had to do was to give way to him. There was no need for her to step to the side. Shi Yao cursed herself for her foolishness in her mind before moving back to the entrance of the examination hall and making her way into the classroom. After tidying up the examination papers, Lin Jier seemed to have sensed someone approaching from the entrance, so he casually turned his head to look at Shi Yao. Sensing Lin Jie's gaze, Shi Yao's footsteps subconsciously came to a halt. A few days ago when he sent her a text message he said that they were friends. Did that mean that all the words he'd said to her not to interact with him had become invalid? As a friend, shouldn't she greet him now? While she was deep in thought, someone suddenly darted over and greeted, "Little Junior, what a coincidence." Shi Yao instinctively turned her head over and saw that it was Lu Benlai. Just like the first time they met during the physical education class, he was wearing a pink short-sleeved shirt. The short-sleeved shirt is nice, but does it have to be so fashionable? Shi Yao muttered under her breath before turning to Lu Benlai with a smile and greeting. "Hello, Senior Lu." As soon as Shi Yao said those words, Lu Benlai could clearly sense that there was something wrong with the aura emanating from Lin Jie. Did I go too far with my words earlier? Shouldn't I have greeted Little Junior first? Instead she ended up greeting me first? Lu Benlai's eyes darted around in thought, but in the next second he clutched his stomach and said, "Aw, my stomach hurts a little, so I'm going to the toilet. You guys continue chatting." As he spoke, Lu Benlai slipped out of the classroom. Completely oblivious to what was going on, Shi Yao thought that since she had already greeted Senior Lu, she should greet Lin Jie as well. Thus she turned to Lin Jie and greeted him with a smile. "Good morning, Senior Lin." "Good morning, Senior Lin." "Good morning, Senior Lu." He had two more words than Lu Benlai. Lin Jie's mood immediately lightened up, so much so that he replied, "Morning. What's your candidate number?" Shi Yao took out her examinee token and took a look at it. 26. Lin Jie casually pointed to the table on his right and said, "The fourth row is your seat." She had wanted to see how the examinee numbers were arranged, but who could have thought that Lin Jie would actually tell her about it? Shi Yao immediately replied with a smile, "Thank you, Senior Lin." After which she said, "I'll be heading to my seat then." Lin Jie calmly nodded his head and replied with an "un." Chapter 284. Hearing those words, Shi Yao's legs trembled and she nearly fell to the ground. "Cheating? Who's going to cheat? I have Marxism memorized so well that there's no need for me to cheat at all." With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao raised her head and glared at Lin Jie angrily. She puffed up her cheeks and made her face round, putting on an adorable expression. "What are you looking at me for? Are you trying to act cute?" Lin Jie couldn't help but take a few more glances before reluctantly lowering his head. While distributing the papers he said, "Even if you want to act cute, I won't allow you to cheat." Shi Yao widened her eyes. "Act cute? Which eye of his saw that I'm acting cute? Forget it, seeing that he's the substitute invigilator today, I won't hold it against him." Shi Yao pouted. This time not only did she not say a word, she didn't even wave her hands anymore. Instead she returned to her seat and sat down. Shi Yao and the others had entered the examination hall on time, so it didn't take them more than a few minutes before the examination bell rang. Lu Benlai and Lin Jie each took half of the papers. Initially, Lu Benlai was standing by the window, but before he could distribute the papers, he noticed that Lin Jie was staring at him motionlessly. His hand froze for a moment, and it took him 2 seconds to realize that there was a little junior sitting by the window. Thus, he tactfully ran over to the side by the door and began distributing the papers. After the papers were distributed, the entire classroom fell silent. All of the examinees were leaning on their tables, gesturing at their papers with their pens. Lin Jie was standing by the first row of windows, and he had been staring at Shi Yao from the start of the examination. As soon as Soft Bun received her papers, she began writing furiously. Looking at her, did she really know how to do it, or was she just scribbling nonsense? Speaking of which, she looked rather earnest and adorable. Her lips were muttering silently. Is she reading the questions? As the saying goes, only fools read the questions silently. For someone like him, he could tell what the answer was with just a glance. It didn't take long for Lin Jie to notice that Shi Yao had flipped the papers. She's done blindsiding the first page and she's going to blindsiding the second page? Sigh, if not for the fact that he was an invigilator and couldn't use his phone, he would have really wanted to take a photo of this scene. 40 minutes into the examination, Shi Yao's pen finally stopped. She finished the 2-hour exam in 40 minutes? Sure enough, guessing was faster than answering the questions seriously. With this thought in mind, Lin Jie changed his posture and continued staring at Shi Yao. Shi Yao's attention had been completely focused on the question, so she didn't pay much attention to her surroundings. However, now that she was done answering the question, she realized that Lin Jiej's gaze had been glued to her all this while as she slowly checked for any typos. What did he mean? Afraid that she would cheat? After correcting 2 typos and confirming that there were no problems with the paper, she noticed that Lin Jiej was still staring at her. So she put down the paper and cupped her chin in her hand, mimicking Lin Jiej's stare. Why is Soft Bun staring at me? It was one thing for her to look, but she would blink from time to time. Was she trying to seduce him? Could it be that Soft Bun had made a cheat sheet and was unable to cheat under his watchful eyes, so she was using such a method to hint at him? Did she think that by blinking at him a few times he would allow her to cheat? Was he such a shameless person? As these thoughts flashed across Lin Jiej's mind, he saw Yao blink once more. Alright, on account that she's Soft Bun, I'll reluctantly bend the rules this time. Chapter 285. Lin Jiej stared at Yao for a moment longer before he reluctantly averted his gaze and looked elsewhere. This time Soft Bun must be overjoyed. She can finally copy her cheat sheets without any worries. But in the end, Lin Jiej was still a little curious, so he would discreetly sneak glances at Yao from time to time. Is Soft Bun that timid? I haven't looked at her for so long, but she still doesn't dare to cheat? Frowning, Lin Jiej fell into deep thought for a moment before his gaze finally fell on Lu Benlai, who was seated at the lectern with his chin propped up in his hands, seemingly on the verge of falling asleep. It can't be that this fellow is interfering with Soft Bun's cheat sheets, right? Lin Jiej lowered his gaze. Since I've already made up my mind to help Soft Bun this once, I'll surely do it to the end. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej walked over to Lu Benlai's side and began chatting awkwardly with him. While they were chatting awkwardly, Lin Jiej didn't forget to sneak glances at Yao from time to time. The young lady finally stopped staring at him. Instead, she was holding a pen in her hand and scribbling something on the table, seemingly distracted. Is she using this distracted look to conceal the fact that she's sneaking glances at her cheat sheets? I didn't think that Soft Bun would be an acting queen on top of being a glutton. But then again, acting queen Bun does sound pretty nice. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej's lips curled up into a smile that even he himself didn't notice. Lu Benlai, who was in the midst of discussing Lin Jiej's mathematics problem with a serious expression, asked in bewilderment, "Boss, what are you smiling about?" "Am I smiling?" Lin Jiej raised his hand slightly to cover his lips before clearing his throat. His usual cold and aloof expression returned to his face as he said, "It's nothing much. Continue speaking." While Lu Benlai was carrying on with their conversation, Lin Jiej stole a glance at Yao for the umpteenth time. Judging from her appearance, she was no longer scribbling randomly like before. Most likely she was seriously writing something. Is she finally starting to copy her cheat sheets? Lin Jiej intentionally avoided looking at Yao and continued chatting with Lu Benlai. It was only after Yao put down her brush that he finally stopped his conversation with Lu Benlai. He leisurely walked back to the window and leaned lazily against it as he gazed at Yao. The girl was actually looking at him. More importantly, even if she was looking at him, the hand she placed on the table was actually gently waving at him. Was she asking him to go over? Lin Jiej stood still on the spot, his gaze still fixed on Yao's face. It was only when Yao waved at him once more that he feigned a helpless expression and straightened his back. As if patrolling the classroom, he walked around it once before stopping right in front of Yao. Yao pushed a very small folded piece of paper over to him. Did Soft Bun fail to find the answers in the cheat sheet, so she started looking for him to cheat? As an invigilator, if he were to obey her, he would be helping the wicked. Seeing that Lin Jiej wasn't picking up the paper, Yao thought that he hadn't seen it yet, so she pushed the paper closer to Lin Jiej. At the same time, she even winked at him, gesturing for him to take it. She was trying to seduce him again. Chapter 286. Lin Jiej continued walking around the examination hall before stopping in front of the podium. He pulled out the crumpled examination paper that Lu Benlai had placed under his arm. To think that he would succumb to the temptation and end up siding with a tyrant. But honestly, it shouldn't be that serious, right? At the very most, it's an unspoken rule. Lin Jiej read through the examination paper while memorizing the answers in his mind. His mind wandered off at the same time. The unspoken rule for others was to sleep with her, But he was to blink his eyes? Wouldn't it make him look like he was a little too weak to resist? Besides, did Soft Bun really need to sleep with him? At the very most, it was just the husband following the wife's lead. It was only when Lin Jierge was almost done reading through the answers for the multiple choice and fill-in-the-blank questions that he confirmed that Shi Yao would be able to score at least 80 marks that he picked up a pencil from the table, tossed a "I'm going to the washroom" to Lu Benlai, and walked out of the examination hall. Lin Jierge quickly entered the washroom and locked the cubicle door before taking out the slip of paper Shi Yao had given him from his pocket. In all his years of living, this was the first time he was helping someone cheat. Just the thought of it was exhilarating. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jierge unfolded the slip of paper and picked up the pen. Just as he was about to jot down all of the answers he had just memorized, he suddenly saw a sentence: "I still owe you a meal." This was completely different from what he had expected. Isn't this cheating? Why is it a meal? Lin Jierge was taken aback for a moment before he continued reading. "I just finished my examination and I don't have any classes in the afternoon. If you're free, I'll treat you to a meal today. If you agree to it, please tick the food you want to eat from the options below. A. Mala fragrant pot. B. Crayfish. C. Skewers. D. Hot pot. E. Beijing cuisine. F. Hunan cuisine. G. Cantonese cuisine." Isn't passing a slip of paper in the examination hall cheating? It's actually a multiple choice question. So when I was chatting awkwardly with Lu Benlai earlier, she wasn't scribbling notes at all but writing these instead? Having been given a tight slap by reality, Lin Jierge didn't know whether he should be happy or sad. He stood in the washroom for a long while before a thought came to his mind. It's definitely not me, but Soft Bun is different from normal people. Sighing helplessly, Lin Jierge picked up his pen and wrote on the paper, "I choose H, anything." As Lin Jierge folded the paper, he hesitated for a moment before tearing out the words that he had just written. He folded the rest of Shi Yao's words neatly and placed them back into his pocket. "This seems to be the first time Soft Bun has sent me a note. I should keep it as a souvenir." By the time Lin Jierge returned to the examination hall, Shi Yao had returned to the time when he was chatting awkwardly with Lu Benlai, and she was absent-mindedly scribbling on a piece of paper. Since she wasn't making a cheat sheet, then her absent-mindedness was truly absent-mindedness. Then what was she drawing on the paper? While Lin Jierge was deep in thought, he had already walked up to Shi Yao's table. Noticing his arrival, Shi Yao raised her head to look at him. Lin Jierge casually tossed the paper back onto the table, and before he left, he shot a glance at Shi Yao's brush. It was just a single glance, but he nearly choked on his own saliva. Soft Bun wasn't scribbling on a piece of paper but drawing. Not only that, the paper was filled with food: strawberries, apples, oranges, ice cream, candies. Soft Bun was completely immersed in the world of foodies. Chapter 287. After Lin Jierge left, Shi Yao carefully opened the paper slip he had left on her table. H whatever. She had clearly written ABVV, but there was no H option at all. Lin Jierge's answer was completely irrelevant. If Lin Jierge were to take the examination with such an attitude, he would surely fail. If there was a restaurant chain in the world called whatever, it would surely be a hit. While Shi Yao's thoughts were running wild, the examination finally came to an end. Just like when they were distributing the papers, Lu Benlai collected the papers from the examinees closest to the door while Lin Jierge collected the papers from Shi Yao's side. Compared to Lu Benlai's amiable smile, Lin Jierge's expression was unbelievably cold. His posture didn't look like he was collecting papers but more like he was collecting a debt. Seated on the third seat from the bottom of the row to Shi Yao's right was a beautiful young lady. She was dressed fashionably, and her hair was dyed the most popular shade of honey brown this year. It was a very eye-catching sight. Throughout the examination, Honey Brown had raised her hand 3 times, and every time she did so, her gaze would always be directed at Lin Jierge. However, the one who had approached her was Lu Benlai. Lu Benlai was the first to collect the papers from Honey Brown's row. Most of the examinees had already left the examination hall after their papers were collected, but she was still seated before her table, reapplying her lipstick and tidying up her makeup bag with a mirror in her hand. Lin Jierge had started collecting the papers from the window, and Shi Yao was seated in the middle. Looking at it this way, she should be the 4th last among Lin Jierge's examinees. It didn't take long for most of the examinees to leave the examination hall, but Honey Brown was still there. When Lin Jie received the third seat from Shi Yao's row, which was the seat to the left of Honey Brown Lady turned her head around and smiled at Lin Jie. Before the other students in the classroom, she asked politely, "Senior Lin, may I know if you're free later on?" It was hard to tell whether Lin Jie didn't hear her or he was feigning ignorance, but he quickly took the paper from the examinee on Honey Brown's left and moved on to the next examinee. The Honey Brown girl wasn't discouraged. "Senior Lin, if you're busy now, I'll wait for you to finish collecting the test papers." Before Honey Tan Lady could finish her words, Lin Jie had already reached Shi Yao's side and said, "Give me a moment. I'll take around 10 minutes. Shi Yao knew that Lin Jie was referring to her treating him to a meal, but Honey Tea was talking to him. Shi Yao subconsciously turned her head to look at Honey Tea. Where was she looking when he was talking to her? A slight frown appeared on Lin Jie's forehead. Using the paper in his hand, he patted Shi Yao's face lightly so that she wouldn't be able to see the Honey Brown Lady. "Did you hear what I said?" Shi Yao's face was grazed by the paper and she glared at Lin Jie angrily. "You heard it." Acting cute again, Lin Jie couldn't help but smack Shi Yao's head once more before collecting the remaining 3 examination papers. After which he walked up to the podium and placed them together with Lu Benlei's examination papers into a sealed folder. Although Lin Jie said that he would take 10 minutes, it actually took him less than 5 minutes to deliver the examination papers to the teacher's office before heading back to Shi Yao's examination hall. Chapter 288. Only Shi Yao and the Honey Tea Lady were left in the spacious classroom, and it felt a little deserted. The Honey Tea Lady was still fiddling with her cosmetics. Even though her actions were very ladylike, the way she would glance out of the door from time to time betrayed her impatience. With this in mind, Shi Yao became much calmer. Just like during the examination, she was scribbling on a piece of paper to pass the time. Lin Jie didn't enter the examination hall. Instead, he stood at the entrance. A small portion of the sunlight filtered through the window and fell on Shi Yao's body, making her skin appear even more exquisite. Lin Jie was just about to call out to Shi Yao, but the words stuck in his throat. He couldn't help but stare at her intently. But it was a pity that it didn't take long for someone to shatter this beautiful moment. "Senior Lin," as the Honey Tea Lady spoke, Shi Yao turned her head toward the entrance. Meeting her gaze, Lin Jie ignored the Honey Tea Lady and said to Shi Yao, "Let's go." Shi Yao replied with an "Og" as she began packing her things. In this moment, the Honey Tea Lady was already standing elegantly in front of Lin Jie with her pink Chanel bag in hand. "Senior Lin, I'm Luo Guan, a Year 1 student from the Chinese faculty. May I know if you have the time? Can I treat you to a meal?" While the Honey Tea Lady was speaking, Shi Yao was already walking over with her bag in hand. Lin Jie was intending to continue ignoring the girl who was trying to strike up a conversation with him, but when he saw Shi Yao walking toward him, he pondered for 2 seconds before saying, "I'm sorry, but you'll have to ask her that question." The Honey Tea Lady was stunned for 2 seconds before she turned to look at Shi Yao. Shi Yao was also taken aback by Lin Jie's words. Why in the world did he have to drag her into the conversation when another girl asked him out for a meal? The Honey Tea Lady's eyes were filled with disdain as she looked at Shi Yao. When she saw the clothes Shi Yao was wearing and the outdated bag she was carrying, a hint of disdain surfaced in her eyes. Shi Yao was no fool. She could see the provocation in the other party's eyes, but she paid it no heed. Instead, she turned to look at Lin Jie. She wanted to ask Lin Jie, "Why are you asking me?" But barely after she moved her lips, Lin Jie spoke up once more. His tone was still as nonchalant as before, but compared to the tone he used to speak to that girl earlier, there was a tinge of adoration in his words. "Don't worry, I won't go out to eat with other girls behind your back." What did it have to do with her whether or not he went out to eat with other girls? Shi Yao widened her eyes in shock. Without giving Shi Yao a chance to speak, Lin Jie spoke up once more. This time, his words were directed at Honey Tea Lady. "I'm sorry, but I can't accept your proposal. Look, my Yao Yao is already a little unhappy." No, unhappy? Which eye of his saw that she was unhappy? Also, my Yao Yao, since when she is his Yao Yao? Shi Yao opened her mouth, but just as she was about to speak, Lin Jie had already walked up to her and snatched her bag from her hands. After which, he wrapped his arm around her waist and pulled her toward the door. Shi Yao's body instinctively froze as she tried to struggle free. Chapter 289. As he spoke, Lin Jiege discreetly shot a glance behind him. The honey tea lady's complexion turned a little awkward and awful. It was only then that Lin Jiege retracted his gaze in relief. However, he didn't stop coaxing Shi Yao. Due to the distance between them, he even raised his voice a little. Besides, she said quite a few words to me back then, but didn't I just ignore her? I didn't want to talk to her either, but that won't do. I have to reject her. If I don't reject her, she might think that I'm ignoring her. Wouldn't that be even more troublesome? Lin Jiege spoke one sentence after another, not giving Shi Yao a chance to speak at all. It wasn't until they were out of the teaching block and out of the honey tea lady's sight that Lin Jiege finally stopped talking after Shi Yao's repeated, "Wait, wait, wait, wait." She had been in Lin Jiege's embrace for the entire journey, and it was summer. Her clothes were thin, so she could clearly feel the warmth and firmness of his chest. On top of that, the fragrance from his body continued to seep into her nose. It made Shi Yao's heart race. When Lin Jiege finally stopped talking, she blushed and muttered "Yuke" for a long while before she finally realized what she wanted to say. "What are you doing?" "Oh." In contrast to Shi Yao's nervousness, Lin Jiege appeared much calmer. "I'm asking for your help." "Asking for my help?" Shi Yao blinked her eyes in confusion as she looked at Lin Jiege. It was only then that she realized that she was still in Lin Jiege's embrace. Her face heated up once more and she instinctively lowered her head to struggle out of Lin Jiege's embrace. She was going to ask him what he meant by asking for his help, but she found herself unable to bring herself to say it. The atmosphere between the two of them fell silent for a moment before Lin Jiege spoke up. "I didn't have the time to inform you in advance, so I acted on my own. What I meant by asking for your help is to use you as a shield to reject that lady." After a moment of silence, Lin Jiege asked, "You don't mind, right?" Of course he wouldn't mind at all, but he had to carry her for such a long distance. With a reddened face, Shi Yao didn't know how she should respond to Lin Jiege's question, so she chose to remain silent. Lin Jiege stared at her reddened neck for a moment before speaking up apologetically. "I thought that we were friends, so I thought that you wouldn't mind. If you did, I wouldn't have asked you to help me so casually in the future." Shi Yao thought that Lin Jiege had misunderstood her, so she hurriedly shook her head and interjected. "I don't mind at all." She was just a little embarrassed. But how could she say such words out loud? Shi Yao pondered for a moment before changing the topic. "About that, aren't we going to eat? Let's eat spicy hot pot, what do you think?" Lin Jiege nodded, looking as if he was willing to eat anything. "Sure." Lin Jiege paused for a moment before adding, "Lead the way." Shi Yao replied with the before making her way to the entrance of the academy. Lin Jiege quickly followed suit. Along the way, the two of them didn't speak at all, but Lin Jiege would occasionally sneak glances at Shi Yao. As he stared at her, he couldn't help but recall how he had hugged her waist earlier. Even though they were separated by a layer of clothes, he could still feel the softness of her body. Even when the sun rose, he still could not find an exit. Just as Lu Ben had said, he would still take care of Yaoshi in the game. After all, Yaoshi was his only girl and he trusted that the girl he liked would be able to understand him. Should I ask Soft Bun about it and see what she thinks about it? Lin Jiege's eyelids drooped slightly as he pondered for a moment. Then he raised his head and called out, "Shi Yao." Shi Yao, who was in the midst of toying with the mala fragrant pot, suddenly raised her head and asked, Lin Jiege, it's like this. There's something that I would like to hear your opinion on. Is that all right?" Shi Yao nodded vehemently. "Sure." Lin Jiege took a moment to organize his thoughts before saying, However, he only managed to utter a single word before coming to a halt. "Isn't it a little inappropriate to say me directly?" Chapter 291. He's quite close to both of them. He's interacted with girl quite a bit in his life, and the two of them have experienced many things together. How should I put it? Their relationship is closer than that of friends, but they're not lovers yet. At this point, Shi Yao, who had been silent all this while, suddenly spoke up. "In other words, your friend has an ambiguous relationship with girl A, right? So girl A is her. She said that she has an ambiguous relationship with him?" For some reason Lin Jiage found the word ambiguous to be very pleasing to the ears. His lips couldn't help but curl up into a smile as he replied, It does seem rather ambiguous. When my friend learns that Girl A is unhappy, he'll try his best to console her. When he learns that it's Girl A's birthday, he'll try his best to celebrate it with her. When he sees Girl A being bullied, he'll also stand up for her. My friend will also remember the things that Girl A likes. All in all, my friend's feelings for Girl A are. At this point, Lin Jiage suddenly found himself at a loss for words. On the other hand, Shi Yao interjected, then your friend seems to like Girl A quite a bit. Lin Jiage's fingers trembled slightly as he asked, you think so too? What do you mean by I think so too? Isn't that just liking her? Shi Yao blinked her eyes in confusion. Isn't it just liking her? You can't tell how much your friend loves Girl A from what you've said, but I'm certain that he likes her. Since even Soft Bun has said so, does that mean that he really likes her? So, this is what it feels like to like someone? Lin Jiage was immersed in his thoughts, not saying a word for a long time. After a while, Shi Yao couldn't help but urge him, why aren't you continuing? Lin Jiage replied with an oak before recovering from his daze. Didn't my friend get to know two girls? He met Girl B on the internet by chance, but they've never met in real life, so they don't know much about each other. After all, he doesn't know Girl B in real life, so my friend isn't as close to her as he is to Girl A. However, their relationship on the internet is still pretty good. When Girl B is unhappy, he'll console her. When Girl B wants to play, he'll accompany her. When someone kills Girl B, he'll try his best to avenge her. This sounds a little like me and Mr. Numbers. Shi Yao thought, but she didn't interrupt Lin Jiage. Lin Jiage, how should I put it to you? Anyway, my friend's relationship with Girl B isn't that simple. Then my other roommate said that he's two-timing. He has Girl A, but he's still flirting with Girl B. Shi Yao blinked her eyes blankly as she caught on to the point that she was interested in. Is this friend of yours your roommate? Gosh. I didn't pay attention and gave myself away. Lin Jiage nodded without any change in his expression. Shi Yao, which roommate is it then? Is it that flashy yellow strawberry? Or dark blue pineapple bro? Yellow strawberry bro? Dark blue pineapple brother? What was going on? Lin Jiage was perplexed. Chapter 292. At this point, Shi Yao also realized that it wasn't appropriate for her to give others nicknames in secret, so she chuckled sheepishly and went straight to the point. The guy who asked Leng Wan for her number is the flamboyant yellow strawberry bro, and the other guy is the deep blue pineapple bro. After getting to the main point, Shi Yao couldn't help but ask, which roommate is it? He's two-timing? Even she thinks that he's two-timing too? Lin Jiage's heart sank and he found himself at a loss for words. Shi Yao pressed on, is it the guy who asked Leng Wan for her number? Lin Jiage shook his head. Shi Yao replied with an ogue before coming to a conclusion, so, it's that deep blue pineapple bro. He looks like a good person, but I didn't think that he would be such a playboy. Playboy? Lin Jiage's heart sank to the bottom of the abyss once more. So, Soft Bun thinks that I'm a fickle person too? Shi Yao vaguely sensed that something was amiss with Lin Jiage. She looked at him and blinked twice. What's wrong? Lin Jiage reined in his thoughts and shook his head before replying calmly, it's nothing. He paused for a moment before recalling that Shi Yao had given Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai nicknames, but he was the only one who hadn't. Thus he asked, tell me honestly, did you give me any nicknames too? Shi Yao shook her head vehemently. No, I definitely didn't. Lin Jiage, who really wanted a nickname, continued tempting her. It's fine even if you did. Shi Yao shook her head vigorously. I swear I definitely didn't. If I did, I'd be Little Egg Roll. Alright then. Seeing that there was no hope, Lin Jiage could only give up. A moment later, Lin Jiage still felt a little indignant, so he asked once more, do you really think that my friend is two-timing and a playboy? Shi Yao tilted her head to the side as she replied earnestly, a little. Well, it's not exactly accurate to say that he's two-timing. After all, he's not with anyone at all. However, his actions aren't very good. You know, he's flirting with two girls. Just imagine if the girl you like is flirting with another guy. After pondering for a second, Lin Jiage finally spoke up with a stern voice. I won't give another man a chance. It was just a hypothesis, but Lin Jiage actually took it so seriously? Shi Yao's face reddened for a moment before she continued. Besides, if both of them have feelings for your friend, they'll surely be devastated if they find out that there's another girl around. What about you? Lin Jie asked. Shi Yao was a little taken aback. Lin Jie continued asking, if you were one of the girls, would you be sad? The point was that she wasn't. But it was just a hypothetical question. It didn't matter if she tried it out. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao tried to imagine what Lin Jie had said earlier, and a moment later she said, I'm a little sad. After all, who wouldn't want the person they love to be completely devoted to them? I see. Lin Jie replied before falling silent. A moment later he spoke up once more. His voice was a little soft as if he was talking to himself. I know what I should do now. Shi Yao didn't hear what he was saying, so she asked in bewilderment, what is it? Lin Jie was too distracted to notice Shi Yao's words, but he was still mumbling softly, I won't let you be sad. Chapter 293. Lin Jie was in a daze, so he didn't notice Shi Yao's words. However, his lips were still muttering softly, I won't let you be sad. The cafeteria was extremely noisy. Shi Yao tried her hardest, but she only managed to hear 2 words, and they weren't very accurate either. Dessert? What dessert? Perhaps it was Shi Yao's slightly raised voice that jolted Lin Jie back to his senses. He stared at Shi Yao for 2 seconds before realizing that his mind had wandered off for a moment. He quickly gathered his thoughts and replied with an impassive tone, No, I'm just saying that I have something on in the afternoon. If you're done eating, let's go. In the end, the one who footed the bill was still Lin Jie. He used the excuse that Shi Yao had helped him reject the honey tea girl and answered his friend's question to pay the bill. The two of them parted at the entrance of the school. After Shi Yao left, Lin Jie stood under a parasol tree at the entrance of the school for a very long time, seemingly caught in some kind of dilemma. Eventually he made his way to a supermarket opposite the entrance of the school, and when he came out he was holding a bag in his hands. When he returned to his dormitory room, Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai were both there. One was reading a novel while sipping on a maidong and the other was watching a movie. Hearing the dull thud, Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou reflexively turned to look at the entrance of the dormitory room. Then the two of them greeted Lin Jie with a boss, before returning to their novel and movie. Unlike before, Lin Jie didn't walk over to his seat and sit down. Instead he stopped in front of Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou and said, I have something to tell you. Lu Benlai's gaze remained on his book as he replied, I'm all ears. Xia Shangzhou stared at the computer screen intently as he replied, I'm all ears. Lin Jie was already used to the two of them teasing each other, so he went straight to the main topic. From today onward, room 501's menu will be changing. Lu Benlai immediately put down the novel in his hand and turned to Lin Jie. Boss, does this mean that we won't be eating porridge or buns with maidong anymore? Xia Shangzhou quickly paused the movie. Boss, do you mean that I don't need instant noodles and maidong for my supper anymore? Facing the excited and expectant gazes of the duo, Lin Jie's tone remained unhurried. Monday is steamed red pepper fish head. Tuesday is spicy tofu. Wednesday is boiled beef. Thursday is duck blood curd. Friday is spicy chicken. Saturday is spicy pot prawns. Sunday is hot and sour noodles. Initially, Lu Benlai's eyes lit up in excitement. However, as he listened to the latter half of the story, his face suddenly turned a little grim. Boss, are they all spicy? There will be pimples. Xia Shangzhou looked equally distressed. I'll also suffer from internal heat, nosebleeds and blisters all over my mouth. I might even get hemorrhoids. In the face of the duo's grievances, Lin Jie calmly added, Oh, I forgot to add 3 words to the names of the dishes. Thinking that there was something to look forward to, Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai immediately perked up. Lin Jie replied calmly, Match it with pulsation. Baby don't want, baby refuse. Baby don't want, baby refuse +1. Amidst the wails of the duo, Lin Jie walked up to Xia Shangzhou and tossed the things he had bought from the supermarket onto the table. Chapter 294. Taken aback, Xia Shangzhou pointed to himself in disbelief and asked, You gave it to me? Lu Benlai couldn't help but exclaim in envy, Boss, why did you buy things for old Xia and not me? Lin Jie couldn't be bothered to respond to Lu Benlai. He simply nodded at Xia Shangzhou. This means that boss has me in his heart. Xia Shangzhou said gleefully as he opened the bag Lin Jierge had tossed on the table. He stared at the shampoo, towel, socks and hand sanitizer for a moment before turning to Lin Jierge. Boss, why are they daily necessities and not cigarettes? You bought them for me previously, so I'm returning them to you now. Lin Jierge fell silent for a moment before lowering his eyes to conceal the emotions in them. With a calm voice, he continued. Other than changing the menu in room 501, there's one more thing. I won't be playing games with you and Yao loves ice cream anymore. Having said all that he wanted to say, Lin Jierge returned to his seat and sat down. Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai were stunned. After a long while, the two of them glanced at one another before turning their gazes to Lin Jierge, who was leaning against the back of his chair and staring at the dark screen of his laptop. Lu Benlai, boss, we can still play games, right? Xia Shangzhou, that's right. It's just playing games. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Lu Benlai, besides it's just the four of us. It'll be a mess if we lose one more person. Lin Jierge didn't move at all despite the two of them talking back and forth. It was hard to tell whether it was because he was in a bad mood or because he was annoyed by the two of them, but he suddenly turned around and said impatiently, I said that I'm not playing anymore and I'm a man of my words. If I continue playing games with Yao loves ice cream, I'll be inhumane. Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai could tell that Lin Jierge was serious, so neither of them dared to say a word. In an instant, the dormitory room fell silent. Without even looking at the two of them, Lin Jierge sat in his seat for a moment longer before picking up his phone, tapping into WeChat searching for Yao loves ice cream, and adding her to his blacklist. He stared at the pop-up page for a moment before confirming it. After which he tossed his phone onto the table and walked to the balcony. Was it reluctance? Oh. But no matter how reluctant he was, he had to do it. Because Soft Bun had said that she would be sad, and he would never let her be sad. Never. During dinner, the three of them from room 501 ate together. Just as Lin Jierge had said, since it was a weekend, they ordered hot and sour noodles. As the three of them hovered between life and death due to the spiciness, they barely managed to finish 1/5 of the hot and sour noodles before throwing the rest into the trash can. After lunch, Yao loves ice cream started asking in the sexy and frisky group to play together. Before starting, Lu Benlai turned to Lin Jierge and asked, Boss, are you coming? Seeing that Lin Jierge had no intention of responding to him, he clicked start and began playing with Xia Shangzhou and Yao loves ice cream. Before the game started, Xia Shangzhou said, Boss has something to do tonight so he can't play. Seated on the chair, Lin Jierge's fingers trembled upon hearing those words. He knew that it was probably Yao Shi who had asked him. Lin Jierge switched on his laptop, intending to work on his project, but Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai's voices kept ringing in his ears. Sis Yao, there's a level 3 Spetsnaz helmet here. Sis Yao, hide yourself. Sis Yao. Lin Jierge really wanted to block out their voices, but no matter how hard he tried, he was unable to do so. In the end, he put on his earphones and went to play as well. He was also playing in a 4-player mode, but it was a 1v4. After 3 rounds, he landed on the ground and turned into a crate. For the 4th round, Lin Jierge intentionally chose a secluded area, and when he landed on the ground, he had no idea what was going through his mind. But by the time he came to his senses, the first blue circle had already appeared. There was no way he could pick up the equipment anymore, so he had to get out of the blue circle first. He stood on the spot and glanced left and right, intending to look for a car. However, a gunshot suddenly sounded and he turned into a crate. A row of red words appeared on the screen. Yao loves ice cream. Eliminated. 111,111, with M416. Chapter 295. Yao loves ice cream. Eliminated. 111,111, with M416. Lin Jierge, Lu Benlai, Xia Shangzhou. The trio from room 501 widened their eyes in unison as they stared at the phone screen. Even after staring at it for a long time, they were still dumbfounded. The dormitory room was extremely quiet. It was incomparably quiet, to the extent that Lin Jierge could even hear Yao loves ice cream's voice coming from Lu Benlai's earpiece. I killed someone, I killed someone. Even though it was barely audible, Lin Jierge could still clearly sense Yao loves ice cream. Agitation. Did you see that? I killed someone. Juice? Expert. Did you see the words on the phone screen? Yao loves ice cream killed 11111 with M416. When Yao loves ice cream reached 5 ones, there was finally no more sound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure, Yao stared at 111,111 on her phone screen and carefully counted to confirm that she wasn't counting wrongly. 6 ones. Isn't that Mr. Numbers? So the person she saw standing motionlessly in the bushes like a fool wasn't an AI but Mr. Numbers? But didn't experts say that Mr. Numbers was busy tonight? Sure, Yao was stunned for a long time before she muttered, am I seeing things? Is the person I just killed really 111,111? Without Yao loves ice cream, voice coming from Lu Benlei's earpiece, room 501 fell even more silent. Even the faint sounds from the air conditioner sounded exceptionally clear. The silence lasted for a very long time before a very soft voice drifted into Lin Jie's ears once more. It was still Yao loves ice cream. Voice coming from Lu Benlei's earpiece. Am I seeing things? Is the person I just killed really 111,111? Perhaps it was due to her uncertainty, but her voice was filled with hesitation. Is 111111 your boss? Didn't he say that he didn't have time to play games? How did I? Yao loves ice cream, stuttered for a long while, but she still couldn't finish her words. But everyone who heard her voice knew that she was going to say, I killed him. Xia Shangzhou was still in a daze from the earlier scene, so his voice sounded erratic. Maybe boss suddenly wants to play? Lu Benlai chimed in as well, but compared to Xia Shangzhou he was much more quick-witted. Perhaps our boss is just playing around in the car? Yao loves ice cream. If that's the case, it's no wonder you were shot in the head. Through Lu Benlei's earpiece, Lin Jie could sense that Yao loves ice cream. Astonishment had already returned to excitement. But no matter what, I'm still a bronze who has killed a king. Moreover, this king is ranked second in the entire server rankings. This is enough for me to brag about for the rest of my life. Fortunately, I was very excited because I killed someone just now, so I took a screenshot and saved it. Wait for me, I'll bring the screenshot to your boss to show off. After speaking with Expert and Juice, Sure Yao exited the game and entered WeChat to send a screenshot over to 111,111. Chapter 296. Sure Yao thought that her eyes were playing tricks on her. She raised her hand to rub her eyes, but the line of gray words was still there. Did this mean that Mr. Numbers had blacklisted her? I didn't offend him at all, so why would he blacklist me? Could it be because I blocked his Moments page? But I've already let him out of the small black room. Furthermore, he didn't blacklist me that day. Could it be that he's trying to settle the score? Or perhaps it's because I just blew his head off earlier? You can't blame me for that. He's the one who stood there like a PC, not moving at all. Not only was Mr. Numbers a venomous, vengeful and arrogant person, he was also petty? Sure Yao harumphed coldly in her heart. I'll blacklist him then. It's as if I can't be blacklisted. With such thoughts in mind, Sure Yao unhesitatingly tapped on less than 111,111's profile picture and added him to her WeChat blacklist as well. After hearing Yao loves ice cream's words, Lu Benlai took off his earphones and turned to Lin Jie, saying, Boss, Sis Yao went to show off to you. Hearing Lu Benlei's words, Lin Jie's eyes twitched slightly as he stared at his phone screen unblinkingly. He didn't say a word, but he knew very well that Yao loves ice cream wouldn't be able to show off to him because he had already blacklisted her. That blacklisting wasn't just limited to his WeChat. He had blacklisted her from his life as well. What Xia Shangzhou was concerned about was what Sis Yao had said to Lin Jie, so he asked, Boss, what message did Sis Yao send to you? Lin Jie remained silent. Lu Benlai saw that Lin Jie's screen was still displaying the game, so he thought that he wanted to continue playing. Thus he said, Boss, since you're playing by yourself anyway, why don't you play with us? Xia Shangzhou, that's right, boss. It's fine as long as you don't talk to my Sis Yao. Did Sis Yao admit that she's yours? Lin Jie lowered his gaze and said resolutely, I'm a human and a man with backbone at that. Xia Shangzhou, boss, even if you go back on your words, you can still be a god. Lu Benlai, that's right. Boss, you can be my daddy too. Lin Jiege couldn't be bothered to waste his time with the two of them, so he tossed them "I'm going for a run" before grabbing his phone and making his way out of the dormitory room. While he was changing into his sports shoes, Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou had already jumped from the previous topic to the next. Xia Shangzhou, do you think our boss is reliable when he says that he won't be playing with Sis Yao? Lu Benlai, I think it's quite low. Xia Shangzhou, I think it's quite high. Lu Benlai, a bet? Xia Shangzhou, let's do it. Lu Benlai, if boss wants to continue playing with Sis Yao, you should just tattoo a Peppa Pig on your body. Applause for the members of society. Xia Shangzhou, boss is never going to play with Sis Yao ever again, so you should get a tattoo of Pleasant Goat. I'm the strongest on the verdant plains. Lu Benlai, deal. Xia Shangzhou, how many Ks? Hearing the entire conversation between the duo, Lin Jiege's lips twitched a little as he thought, what a bunch of lunatics. Then he pushed open the door and walked out of the dormitory room. Lin Jiege would usually go for a night run, but he would stop after 1500 meters. Chapter 297. At first he could still remember how many laps he had run, but as time went by, the numbers in his head started to get messy. Eventually all he could remember was how heavy his legs were and he was unable to lift them up. Yet he continued to lift them with all his might as if he was torturing himself or perhaps trying to make himself forget something. Lin Jiege continued running until he could no longer run any further, and his entire body slumped to the ground. His throat was dry and he was feeling a little short of oxygen. He panted heavily for a long time, but he still found it hard to catch his breath. It was already late at night and there was barely anyone on the field. Exhausted, he decided to just lie down on the ground. He didn't like the sticky feeling of sweat all over his body, and he wanted to return to his dormitory room to take a shower. But when he remembered that those two fellows in his dormitory room were probably playing with Yaoxi at the moment, he quickly dismissed that thought. It was rare to see stars in the night sky of Beijing. Resting his head on his arms, Lin Jiege gazed at the pitch-black sky. He searched for a long time, but he wasn't able to find a single star. Thus he retracted his gaze and closed his eyes. From time to time he would hear the rustling of leaves in the night breeze, and just like that he passed the time quietly. He didn't know how much time had passed, but when he picked up his phone he saw that it was already 11 o'clock at night. According to their usual routine, they should have finished the game by now. He got up from the ground and dragged his exhausted body back to the dormitory. As it was summer, he had sweated a lot during his run and he was feeling a little dehydrated. As he passed by a supermarket, he went in and bought a bottle of mineral water. Walking out of the supermarket, Lin Jiege twisted open the cap, and just as he was about to drink the water, the phone in his pocket suddenly rang. Lin Jiege took out his phone and took a look. It was a WeChat notification, so he tapped on it while drinking the water. It was a voice message from Lin Jiege. He tapped on it and his older sister's melodious voice drifted into his ears through the night sky. Lin Jiege, do you know what I just received? Had it been any other time when he was in a good mood he might have replied with, bag or jewelry, gold or diamond. But today he really wasn't in the mood. Lin Jiege ignored Lin Jie's WeChat message. After drinking half a bottle of water, he screwed the cap back on and prepared to head back to his dormitory room. However, his phone suddenly rang once more. While walking, Zhang Xian noticed that it was still a WeChat message from Lin Jie. Lin Jie, let me tell you, you'll definitely be interested. Lin Jie, it's related to Yao Yao. Lin Jie, are you sure you don't want to know? Lin Jie, alright then. Since you don't want to know, just pretend that I never asked. It was related to soft bun. Lin Jiege was tempted for a moment, but in the end he still couldn't hold himself back and sent a question mark. Over to Lin Jie. Lin Jie, why? Now you want to know? Unfortunately, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Lin Jiege. Lin Jie. What does that mean? Speechless? Are you speechless at me? Lin Jie, forget it, I won't bicker with you anymore. Beg me, I'll tell you what I've obtained from Yao. Oh, boring. Was he such a spineless person? Lin Jiege kept his phone. After 2 seconds he took out his phone. Please. It was as if Lin Jie had prepared her message in advance. A moment after Lin Jiege's message was sent, her reply came right after. I got Yao Yao's WeChat. Chapter 298. I thought that it was something incredible. Cheesecake. Lin Jie's eyebrows shot up in disdain as he prepared to back out of WeChat. But halfway through he suddenly froze. I don't recall adding Soft Bun's WeChat. We've been contacting each other through text messages. As if knowing what he was thinking, Lin Jie sent another message. I know that you don't have Yao Yao's WeChat because I asked her for it when I asked her for it. Lin Jie. Let me tell you, I don't really use WeChat when I'm overseas. It was only during the Spring Festival that I downloaded it out of boredom. If I had used it earlier I would have added Yao Yao long ago. However, that's not the point. The point is that I have Yao Yao's WeChat but you don't. Is a mere WeChat really worth her showing off so much? Lin Jie harumphed coldly. He suddenly felt the urge to blacklist Lin Jie as well. Oblivious to Lin Jie's thoughts, Lin Jie sent another message. Do you want Yao Yao's WeChat? Lin Jie. If I do, you know what I'm talking about. Lin Jie. Yen. It had been so many days since she spoke to me. Was she using Soft Bun's WeChat to rob me of my money? Aren't you being too naive? I need Soft Bun's WeChat? With this thought in mind, Lin Jie copied Shi Yao's phone number and pasted it into his WeChat search bar before tapping on the search bar. But there's no such person. She didn't bind her phone number? I can't find her using her phone number? While Lin Jie was deep in thought, Lin Jie sent him another message. Did you use Yao Yao's phone number to search for her friends? Let me tell you, you won't be able to find her because I've already tried. Let me tell you honestly, I've eaten 3 years more rice than you, and I've never fought a battle that I'm not confident of winning. Since I came to look for you, I know that I'll definitely get the money. If I can't, I won't waste my time. Do you think that I'm a fool? He had never seen a person who could rob and swindle money in such a righteous and confident manner. Lin Jie, I have a feeling that my parents might have mistakenly carried you back at the hospital. Lin Jie, stop joking. Even if they mistakenly carried you, they wouldn't mistakenly carry me. Lin Jie, really? Who was the one who said that he saw me come out of my mother's womb with his own eyes? Lin Jie, really? Why don't I remember? Who is it? Lin Jie. Stop trying to change the topic. Do you want my WeChat or not? If you don't want it, I'm going to sleep now. I'm a delicate piggy who never stays up late. Lin Jie, let me tell you, do you know how much food I have to use every time I stay up late? That's all money. The more you dawdle, the more you'll have to pay. Everyone in their family was cold and aloof, but Lin Jie was the only one who was a chatterbox. Lin Jie couldn't be bothered to argue with Lin Jie any further, so he transferred 888 renminbi to her. Lin Jie, is Yao Yao's WeChat worth that much? Lin Jie, let me do the math. If I sleep a minute late, I'll have to pay at least 1,000 renminbi. Why is she called Lin Jie instead of money? With this thought in mind, Lin Jie transferred another sum of 1,888 renminbi before adding. Okay? Lin Jie replied with an okayed emoji before sharing a name card with Lin Jie on WeChat. Not too long ago, Lin Jie was still feeling down, but at this moment he was excitedly making his way back to his dormitory room. Along the way he couldn't help but smile. When he was about to reach the 5th floor, he remembered that he had blocked Big White Chubby, so he hurriedly took out his phone and released her from the blacklist. Chapter 300. Lin Jie walked up to the entrance of the dormitory room, but due to his agitation he pushed the door open forcefully. He thought that Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou had already ended their game, but who could have thought that they would still be playing? Perhaps due to the loud noise, Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou turned to look at the door, but Xia Shangzhou was still talking to him. Sis Yao, are you still playing? Sure, no problem. I'll definitely lead you to a chicken dinner next time. They're still playing? Lin Jie's heart was in turmoil, but he maintained a calm expression on his face as he looked at Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai and asked, Are you still playing? Lu Benlai, yes. Lin Jie took out his phone and logged into the game while replying calmly, That's great. Pull me along. Boss, didn't you say that if you were to? Halfway through Xia Shangzhou's words, he suddenly realized that Sis Yao could hear him through the game's voice chat, so he skipped the rest of his words and went straight to the main point. Aren't you a human? Seeing that no one was pulling him along, Lin Jierge took the initiative to apply to join the team. After which he shot a glance at Xia Shangzhou and replied calmly, "Oh, I'm not a human." Lu Benlai, who was in the midst of drinking from his cup, nearly spat out the water in his mouth. After accepting Lin Jierge's application, he rubbed his tummy, which was hurting a little from holding back his laughter, and said to Xia Shangzhou, "Don't forget that Peppa Pig has a tattoo on its body." Xia Shangzhou snorted coldly at Lu Benlai before ignoring him. He continued staring at Lin Jierge, unwilling to give up. "But boss, didn't you say that you're a man with backbone?" After entering the game hall, Lin Jierge began rummaging through his earphones. Hearing Xia Shangzhou's words, he didn't immediately respond to him. It was only after he found his earphones and was arranging the cables that he turned to Xia Shangzhou and said lazily, "I'm not a human anymore. So what backbone do I have? What's the point of being a man with backbone?" He wanted to be a man who could bow and stand tall. He was able to stand tall when he was raising flags, but at this moment he was able to bow. Besides, could backbone be used as food? He didn't want a backbone. He wanted soft bun, he wanted big white chubby. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jierge plugged in his earphones and stared at Shi Yao's avatar in the game hall. His voice was much more gentle than when he had spoken to Xia Shangzhou earlier. "Sis Yao, I'll carry you to the chicken dinner." "Sis Yao?" This seemed to be the first time Mr. Numbers had addressed her as Sis Yao. Furthermore, his voice sounded exceptionally gentle and pleasant to the ears today. It was even more pleasant to the ears than before. This was especially so when he said those words with a slight tremble at the end, causing her heart to tremble along with it. Shi Yao froze for a moment before recalling that Mr. Numbers had blacklisted her. She was just about to say "all right" to Mr. Numbers, but in the next instant she swallowed it back down. She was a foodie, but she was also a foodie with a temper, all right? The game began and the four of them landed together. As usual, whenever Xia Shangzhou saw a good piece of equipment, he would say, "Sis Yao, come and get it." "Tisk, how boring. Do you think that you'll be able to win Sis Yao's affection just like that?" Lin Jierge didn't agree with her at all. Following which, he began furiously picking up equipment from room after room, and just as he was about to reach the god equipment, he took a look at the minimap before hopping over to Yao Loves Ice Cream. "Sis Yao, I have a level 3 helmet here." Chapter 301. "Sis Yao, I have a level 3 military helmet here." "Sis Yao, I have a level 3 military vest here." "Sis Yao, I have a 98K and 8X scope and accessories." It's a fully equipped 98K. As Lin Jierge spoke, he tossed one equipment after another at Yao Loves Ice Cream's feet. "Everything on the ground is for you. Medicine packets, painkillers and energy drinks, I'll give them to you too. Oh, I also have a med kit. I'll give them all to you for free." After stripping himself clean, Lin Jierge didn't stay by Yao Loves Ice Cream's side for too long. He leaped out of the window and continued looking for another room to loot his equipment. So what if I don't want money? Does he think that I'll accept it just because he doesn't want money? While Shi Yao was thinking this, she lowered her gaze to look at the pile of bullets and medicine by her feet. These are all good equipment. I should be able to make it to the final circle. Isn't it a huge pity to leave them here? Shi Yao hesitated for a moment before bending down to pick up the pieces of equipment one by one and placing them into her backpack. It wasn't that she wanted his equipment, but that she didn't want anyone to coincidentally stumble into this room and equip themselves, thus increasing the difficulty of their game. With the equipment that Mr. Numbers had given her, Shi Yao didn't need anything else. So throughout the entire game she had been either following 111,111 and the others as they ran from the blue circle, or camping at the edge of the blue circle with an 8x scope to look for Mr. Numbers. However, what left Shi Yao perplexed was that in the past, regardless of whether it was with her or with Juice, Expert and the others, Mr. Numbers would always be like a lone wolf, never bothering to care about his teammates. Instead, he would wield his gun and slaughter the enemies by himself. But today it was hard to tell whether Mr. Numbers had taken the wrong medicine or had a brain cramp, but he actually stayed by her side the entire time. No matter which room she entered, Mr. Numbers would enter the room as well. If she were to hide in the bushes, Mr. Numbers would be right next to her. If she were to hide behind a cover, he would either follow her or find the nearest cover to hide behind. In other words, as long as she turned the screen of her phone, she would always see less than 111,111 moving around in her sight. Even at the end of the game, before the words, "Great luck, chicken dinner" appeared on the screen, 111111 was still dancing in front of her like a devil, moving in a snakeskin pattern and fighting head-on with her. In the past, the one who would ask Yao if she still wanted to play after every round was expert of the monkeys. But this time, a second before the game ended, 111111's voice sounded in his earpiece. "Do you still want to play?" Yao took a look at the time and saw that it was already 11:30. Instead of replying to 111111's message in the game, she ran over to the Sexy and Frisky group and sent a message. "I'm not playing anymore. I'm going to sleep." After successfully sending the message, Yao pondered for a moment. Since 111111 had already blacklisted her, what if he thought that her message was directed at him? Thus she tapped on Juice and Expert of the Monkeys. After confirming that there was nothing wrong with her message, Yao put down her phone and went to take a bath before anyone in the group could reply. At the same time, in room 501 of the male dormitory. Chapter 302. While Lin Jierge was bathing, he couldn't help but feel that everything that had happened tonight was a little too absent-minded. Thus he went through the answer to "Big White Chubby equals Soft Bun" at the foot of the dormitory building from start to finish, and he didn't forget to check that there were no problems with it. Only after confirming that there were no problems did he feel at ease and continue bathing. Because he was in such a good mood, Lin Jierge even started humming a song while he was drying his body. "It's you, it's definitely you. It's you, it's really you." After putting on his pajamas, Lin Jierge grabbed a towel to dry his hair as he opened the bathroom door. As if a door god, Xia Shangzhou stood at the entrance of the bathroom. Lin Jierge was so shocked that he stopped singing. He shot a glance at Xia Shangzhou before continuing singing, "It's you, it's you. If it's really you, let me see you, let me meet you." He walked over to his desk and picked up the hairdryer to dry his hair. By the time Lin Jierge was done drying his hair and fixing it in the mirror, he realized that Xia Shangzhou was standing right behind him, staring at him with a resentful gaze. Lin Jierge turned to look at Xia Shangzhou and asked, "What are you doing?" Xia Shangzhou stared at Lin Jierge unblinkingly and with a stern voice he said, "Boss, I still want to talk to you tonight." Lin Jierge looked left and right in the mirror as he fixed his hair, and with a slightly distracted tone he asked, "What do you want to talk about?" "Xia Shangzhou, about the matter between you and Sis Yao. I think that you're even more overboard than yesterday. It's understandable that you didn't notice it yesterday, but today you're doing it knowingly. That's even more of a crime." Facing Xia Shangzhou's criticism, Lin Jierge replied with an incomparably calm "Oh" before asking, "Are you sure that you want to talk to me?" Xia Shangzhou nodded and with an air of righteousness he said, "That's right. I have to talk to you because I can't bear to see you continue to be so obstinate. The further you go, the worse you'll get." You might have misunderstood me." Lin Jierge turned around and leisurely leaned against the desk. "What I mean is that I'm afraid that you'll be in so much pain that you'll wish you were dead after talking to me." "Xia Shangzhou, I'm already in so much pain that I'd rather be dead than alive." "Alright then." Since that was the case, he would make his heart turn to ashes. With this thought in mind, Lin Jierge asked, "I have good news and bad news. Which would you like to hear first?" Before Xia Shangzhou could reply, Lin Jierge had already spoken up once more. Just pretend that I didn't ask. It seems like it's all bad news for you, Xia Shangzhou." Lu Benlai took off his earphones to eavesdrop. Before Lin Jierge could say anything, Xia Shangzhou said, "Boss, since both of these are bad news to me, I'll listen to your good news first." Lin Jierge nodded in agreement. "The good news is that Yao loves ice cream is sure Yao." Xia Shangzhou. Lin Jierge. "The bad news is that the one who has to draw a line with Yao loves ice cream is you, not me." Xia Shangzhou. What was the difference between these two messages? Lin Jierge patted Xia Shangzhou's shoulder and said, "I deeply sympathize with your plight, but it's a pity that Yao loves ice cream was already mine before I was born." In the instant that Lin Jierge said those words, there was only one sentence left in Xia Shangzhou's mind. "When it comes to love, I choose death." Chapter 303. In the instant that Lin Jierge said those words, there was only one sentence left in Xia Shangzhou's mind. When it comes to love, I choose death. Was there anyone in the world who was more pitiful than him? The goddess whom he had fallen in love with in real life was his boss's fiancée, and the sis Yao whom he had protected with all his might in the game was also his boss's fiancée. Just what kind of sin did he commit in his previous life for his love to be so difficult in this life? Other people's love, even if it wasn't smooth sailing, would at least take root, sprout, or even blossom. Perhaps it might even bear fruit, but the fruit would fall before it could ripen. But his love didn't even have the chance to take root once it was plunged into the soil. No, it was just a seed. It was killed before it could even grow into the soil. They were both human beings, men living in dormitory 501. But why did Boss get everything he wanted in reality and in the game while he lost everything? The more Xia Shangzhou thought about it, the more pitiful he felt. He couldn't help but grumble in dissatisfaction. Unfair. This is too unfair. I can't accept this. Lin Jiege was just about to speak up when he recalled how pitiful Xia Shangzhou was, so he decided to let it go. Boss, I seriously suspect that you are making up a story to deceive me. How can there be such a good thing in the world? Boss, I seriously suspect that you're lying to me. How can there be such a good thing in this world? It's as good as a pie falling from the sky, like winning 5 million yuan while lying down. When Xia Shangzhou said that, he suddenly found hope. You're from a good family and you're good at your studies. If you don't work hard, no one will be able to catch up to your results. You're already blessed by the heavens. I don't believe that the heavens will always favor you. In short, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, I don't believe it even if you beat me to death. Hearing those words, Lin Jiege, who was just about to let Xia Shangzhou off the hook, halted his movements. He really couldn't be blamed for this. It wasn't easy for him to show his kindness, but the other party refused to accept it. Could this be considered as courting death? With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiege took out his phone, searched for Lin Jiao's WeChat and passed the chat log to Xia Shangzhou. Lu Benlai, who had been eavesdropping, immediately leaned over and began reading the chat log between Lin Jiao and Lin Jiege. I got Yao Yao's WeChat. I know that you don't have Yao Yao's WeChat. Do you want Yao Yao's WeChat? While reading, Lu Benlai commented, "Wow boss, big sis's aura is too. 8 meters. Wow boss, when it comes to making money, I'm not convinced by anyone but my sister. Wow, my sister earned nearly 3,000 yuan just like that. Wow." Lu Benlai paused for a moment before continuing. Sis Yao is really our little junior. Old Xia, my condolences. Chapter 304. After reprimanding Lu Benlai, Lin Jiege turned to Xia Shangzhou and said, "Old Xia, ignore him. Nothing good comes out of his filthy mouth." Xia Shangzhou shot a grateful look at Lin Jiege. Even though his goddess had been snatched away by his boss still protected him at crucial moments. However, this feeling of gratitude didn't last for more than 3 seconds before Lin Jiege calmly put away his phone and spoke with a gentle tone. "Old Xia, I thought about it earlier and you're right. I came from a good background and I'm good at my studies. If I don't put in the effort, there's no one who can match up to my results. More importantly, I already had a significant other before I was even born. So I'm indeed blessed by the heavens. Otherwise, how could Yaoshi be Yao Yao?" Xia Shangzhou suddenly felt that he was being overly moved by Lin Jiege. Lin Jiege didn't realize that he had already deviated from the main topic of consoling Xia Shangzhou. "Say, do you think that I'm the legendary god's beloved? Actually, being the god's beloved is also a very tiring thing to do. After all, I'm just invigilating an examination and yet I still run into a peach blossom." Lin Jiege sighed deeply. "Sigh, now that I think about it, I'm really busy. Not only do I have to pluck my own peach blossom, I have to pluck Yao Yao's peach blossom too." Xia Shangzhou felt a mouthful of blood gushing up his throat. "Boss, are you sure you're just consoling someone? Aren't you just showing off?" Lin Jiege shot a glance at Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou, and with a seemingly distressed tone he said, "I can't help it. You won't be able to understand this kind of distress. After all roads lead to Rome and not everyone is born in Rome like me." Xia Shangzhou clutched his tattered chest, and the blood in his throat didn't feel like spurting out. Instead he felt like choking himself to death. He said that Lu Benlai couldn't utter decent language, but what about him? What came out of a dog's mouth was probably a blade that could kill without leaving a trace, right? Lu Benlai, who had been inexplicably implicated, blinked his eyes repeatedly. he suddenly felt that he shouldn't have watched the show just now. As the saying goes, if you always stand by the river, your shoes will get wet. If you always watch others make a fool of yourself, there will come a day when others will laugh at you. After saying what he wanted to say, Lin Jiege was just about to climb onto the bed when he realized that since Xia Shangzhou was here to talk to him, he should at least finish what he had started. Thus he asked, "May I ask if we can end our conversation now?" Xia Shangzhou nodded without any hesitation. Yes. Actually, it could have ended 5 minutes ago. If that's the case, why didn't you tell me about it earlier? What a waste of my time. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiege leaped onto his bed. Hugging his pillow, he picked up his phone and prepared to look for Shi Yao. When he unlocked the phone screen, his lips involuntarily curled into a smile. Instead of looking at the unread messages in the sexy and frisky group, he tapped into "Yao loves ice cream" and typed in a question mark. Just as he was about to hit send, he felt that the message wasn't intimate enough, so he added 3 more words, "Are you asleep?" After confirming that there were no issues, Lin Jiege tapped on the send button. Then a red exclamation mark appeared in front of the message. Chapter 305. Lin Jiege blinked his eyes in confusion. He couldn't understand what this meant. "What do you mean by, your message has been sent, but it has been rejected?" Lin Jiege pondered for a moment before replying the message he had just sent, but it was still the same. He sent another message and still, only then did a frown appear on his forehead. He turned to Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou and asked, "Let me ask you a question. If you send a WeChat message to a person and there's an exclamation mark in front of the message followed by a sentence saying your message has been sent, but it has been rejected, what does that mean?" Lu Benlai stared at his phone screen without raising his head. "I've been blacklisted." Lin Jiege, "What?" Xia Shangzhou, "I've been blacklisted by the other party." Lin Jiege suddenly felt a little traumatized. How did I get blacklisted by Big White Chubby? Did these two fellows make a mistake? The more Lin Jiege thought about it, the more he felt that it was impossible. "Are the two of you messing with me?" Lu Benlai, "What's there to lie about? Boss, if you don't believe me, you can blacklist me. I'll try sending you a message." Lin Jiege hesitated for a second before doing as he was told. After blacklisting Lu Benlai, he said, "Done." Lu Benlai exited the novel page and opened up WeChat. He searched for Lin Jiege's name, tapped on a random letter and sent it over. After which he passed his phone over to Lin Jiege and said, "Boss, take a look for yourself. I'm not lying to you, am I?" Lin Jiege stared at Lu Benlai's phone screen for a long while, and after confirming that it was identical to his own, he felt as if his entire body had withered like a wilted eggplant. Soft Bun actually blacklisted me? Soft Bun actually blacklisted me. How is this possible? I didn't offend her at all. Could it be? Lin Jiege suddenly recalled how Shi Yao had said that she wanted to show off to him after he was beaten to death in the game. Could it be that at that time she had sent him a message and sent him over? Knowing that he had blacklisted her, she might as well blacklist him as well? What the heck? This app sure is toxic. It even reminds the other party when you're blacklisted. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiege tapped into this sexy and frisky group. There were 5 unread messages, so Lin Jiege took a quick glance at them. Yao loves ice cream. I'm done playing. I'm going to sleep. Yao loves ice cream. It's juice. Yao loves ice cream. And expert of the monkeys. Juice. Good night, Sis Yao. Expert of the monkeys. Sweet dreams, Sis Yao. Lin Jiege read through the 5 unread messages over and over again, and eventually he felt even more stifled than before. Why did Soft Bun have Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou but not him? Could it be that she was angry because he blacklisted her? With this thought in mind, Lin Jiege tapped on the screen and sent a message as well. Less than 111,111. Good night, Sis Yao. The moment he successfully sent the message, a new message appeared on his phone screen. Yao loves ice cream. And juice. Yao loves ice cream. An expert. Chapter 306. After sending the message, Lin Jiege fell into deep thought for a moment before tapping on Yao loves ice cream. He patiently held his phone and counted down the seconds. A minute later, Seeing that Shi Yao was still ignoring him, he finally lost his cool and turned to Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou and said, "Did you guys not receive my message?" Lu Benlai took a look at the group chat and replied, "I did." While replying to Lin Jierge, he also sent a message in the group chat. "Sis Yao, sweet dreams +1. Unwilling to give up, Lin Jierge pinned his hopes on Xia Shangzhou. "I received it too." Xia Shangzhou replied as he also sent a message in the group chat. "Sis Yao, sweet dreams +2. Song Chaoshi, who rarely appeared in the chat, also sent a message. "Sis Yao, sweet dreams +3. Yao loves ice cream. Thank you, Juice. Yao loves ice cream. Thank you, Expert. Yao loves ice cream. Thank you, Tide." Lin Jierge stared at the endless stream of messages on his phone, and his heart turned cold. In this group, Soft Bun thanked everyone but me. Seems like Soft Bun is really angry. What should I do? Was he supposed to coax Soft Bun in front of all these people? Just thinking about how the other three would screenshot it and use it as a joke in the future, Lin Jierge couldn't help but hesitate. But he couldn't let Soft Bun know that he was Lin Jierge. Otherwise, Soft Bun wouldn't just be angry at less than 111,111, but Lin Jierge as well. But she had already blacklisted him, so she wouldn't be able to receive his private messages. The more Lin Jierge thought about it, the more he hated WeChat. So, he ran over to the App Store and gave WeChat a star along with a comment. "Are you going to take responsibility for my wife running away after blacklisting her?" Putting down his phone, Lin Jierge tossed and turned for a moment before picking it up once more and giving WeChat a star once more. "If it weren't for my wife, I really would have uninstalled this app forever." Putting down his phone once more, Lin Jierge hugged his blanket as he stared at the snow-white ceiling for a moment. After which he sat up and picked up his phone to send a message to Song Chaoshi. "Please don't tear me down in the group chat later on. Thank you." Without waiting for Song Chaoshi's reply, Lin Jierge generously sent a 200 renminbi red packet over. The red packet was instantly snatched and then Song Chaoshi replied, "Okay boss." Lin Jierge didn't reply to Song Chaoshi's message. Instead he turned to Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou and said, 7 days tour to Golden Resplendence." Lu Benlai immediately put down his phone and said, "Daddy, please state your conditions." Xia Shangzhou tore off his facial mask. "Dad, whatever you say." Lin Jierge. "No matter what happens in the group later on, remember not to say anything you shouldn't." Lu Benlai, "Don't worry, I'll only say what I should say." Xia Shangzhou, "From now on I won't type anymore." Lin Jierge only heaved a sigh of relief after dealing with this problem. He tapped into this sexy and frisky WeChat group, stared at his phone and gulped down a mouthful of saliva. Then he began typing. Less than 111,111, squinting eyes face Yao loves ice cream. "I'm sorry." Sorry? BBB boss actually said those words? While Xia Shangzhou stuttered, Lin Jierge continued typing on his phone. Less than 111,111. "I didn't blacklist you. I wasn't paying attention this afternoon, and my pet accidentally touched my phone screen and blacklisted you." Chapter 307. Since he had accepted a bribe from the other party, it was only right for him to do so. Lu Benlai quickly played along and asked, "Boss, is the pet you are talking about Peppa Pig?" Lin Jierge was stunned for a moment before realizing that the Peppa Pig that Lu Benlai was referring to was the pet that he had promised to raise back then, Soft Bun, who could eat 3 bowls of wontons. Just that, why were they still calling Soft Bun a Peppa Pig? Wasn't that indirectly implying that Soft Bun was a pig? Lin Jierge was just about to shoot Lu Benlai a displeased look. But before he could make a move, it suddenly occurred to him that the reason he had blacklisted Big White Chubby this time was because of Soft Bun. If she hadn't said that she would be sad, he wouldn't have done that. In the end, he wasn't the one who blacklisted Soft Bun, but Soft Bun herself who blacklisted him. With this thought in mind, Lin Jierge tapped on his phone once more. Lin Jierge hesitated for a moment before gritting his teeth and continuing typing. Peppa Pig blocked Sis Yao. Forget it, I'll just compare Soft Bun to Peppa Pig for once. In any case, she's Peppa Pig and I'm Peppa Pig too. Lin Jierge didn't put down his phone. He waited for a few minutes, but the group was still completely silent. So he opened up Yao loves ice cream and sent another message. Sis Yao, I'm sorry. Sure, Yao still hadn't spoken in the group. The air in the boys' dormitory 501 began to thin little by little. For the sake of his own safety, Lu Benlai tried to persuade him to stay. Boss, it's already midnight. Xiao might be asleep by now. Xia Shangzhou quickly cooperated. Yes. Little Junior said she was sleepy an hour ago. Is that so? Lin Jiege took a look at the time on his phone. 12:21? That seemed pretty late. Lin Jiege's complexion improved a little. He continued to hold on to his phone for a while longer, but after seeing that Shi Yao still hadn't said a word, he finally put down his phone and lay back down on his bed. Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou thought that they had escaped a calamity, so they heaved a sigh of relief and got onto their beds, preparing to sleep. But less than 10 minutes after the lights went off, Lin Jiege suddenly sat up on his bed and asked, "Are you sure that she's asleep?" Lu Benlai, "Boss, why don't I help you search for Sis Yao in the group?" Xia Shangzhou asked, "Me too?" Lin Jiege nodded. Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou did as instructed. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. 10 minutes later, Lu Benlai picked up his phone for the umpteenth time, and with a yawn he took a look at the silent group chat and said, "Boss, look. Sis Yao is really asleep, so let's go to sleep too." Xia Shangzhou was so tired that he couldn't speak at all. All he could do was murmur in agreement. Without saying a word, Lin Jiege put down his phone and lay down. Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou thought to themselves, "We can finally sleep now." So they relaxed their minds and prepared to sleep. However, 3 minutes later Lin Jiege sat up once more and said, "Right, there's something I need to tell you. Don't let Yao Yao know that we know who she is." Lu Benlai, all right." Before Xia Shangzhou could finish his sentence, his words were drowned out by yawns. Lin Jiege was just about to lie down when he suddenly thought of Lin Jui. He was Soft Bun's WeChat friend with her, so wouldn't her actions expose his identity? Chapter 308. As long as he paid Lin Jai a sum of hush money tomorrow, once Soft Bun removed him from her blacklist, he would delete the messages he had left on her Moments page. That way Soft Bun wouldn't know that he was friends with Lin Jai. But what about the future? With how talkative Lin Jai was, there was no way she wouldn't chat on her Moments page. He could choose not to appear on Soft Bun's Moments page, but what if Lin Jai appeared on his Moments page? After pondering for a moment, Lin Jiege decided to go all out and block Lin Jai from seeing his Moments page. After confirming that his account as less than 111,111 was safe and secure, he reluctantly tapped into Yao Loves Ice Cream's WeChat and sent a message over. Seeing that he was still blacklisted, he tapped into the group once more, and after confirming that there really wasn't any response from her, he put down his phone and lay down once more. He closed his eyes and a moment later he suddenly recalled the first time he was matched with Shi Yao in the game. It was Xia Shangzhou who took the initiative to add her as a friend, and in order to have him and Lu Benlai carry her in the game, Xia Shangzhou seemed to have given Lu Benlai quite a few red packets. In the afternoon when he decided to cut ties with Big White Chubby, he returned all of the things that Xia Shangzhou had bought for him. But Lu Benlai, how could Soft Bun allow another man to pay for her games? With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiege sat up once more and asked, "Old Xia, how many red packets did you give Lu Benlai to play with you and Yao Yao?" Xia Shangzhou was already asleep, but Lin Jiege's question left him dazed. "What? I'm going to be late?" Lin Jiege couldn't be bothered with Xia Shangzhou anymore. Instead he turned to Lu Benlai and said, "Little Lily, speak." Lu Benlai hadn't fallen asleep yet, so he replied, 800 renminbi. Lin Jiege picked up his phone and tapped on it a few times. A moment later, a notification sounded on Xia Shangzhou's phone. After saying those words, Xia Shangzhou glanced at the sky outside. It was still dark, so he lay back down and went back to sleep. Seeing that Xia Shangzhou had no intention of accepting the money, Lin Jiege got off his bed and walked over to Xia Shangzhou's bedside. He took his phone and unlocked it with Xia Shangzhou's finger. The first 800 renminbi came with a message. Money for Lu Benlai to play with Yao Yao. The second sum of money was 800 renminbi and it came with a message. The money you used to accompany Yao Yao to play games. After settling Shi Yao's gaming debt, Lin Jiege returned to his bed and looked at his phone once more. Seeing that his WeChat was empty and there were no new messages, only then did he put down the phone. He didn't sleep well last night, so he didn't feel sleepy tonight. Closing his eyes, Many scenes of him playing with soft bun surfaced in his mind. This was especially so when he recalled Soft Bun and Xia Shangzhou discussing that he was Xiao Longnu and had met Yin Jiping. If he was Xiao Longnu, wouldn't she be Yin Jiping? She forced herself on him. Lin Jie's face reddened and he couldn't help but flip around. Unfortunately, Yin Jiping had locked him up in a small black room. The more Lin Jie thought about it, the more agitated he became. Even though it was already very late, he still rushed over to the sexy and frisky WeChat group and sent a series of messages. Less than 111,111, squinting eyes face Yao loves ice cream. This is my sincere apology. 111,111, sent a red packet with a complimentary message. Jelly. Less than 111,111 sent a red packet with a complimentary message. Pudding. Less than 111,111 sent a red packet with a complimentary message. Donut. Less than 111,111 sent a red packet with a complimentary message. Juice. Less than 111,111 sent a red packet with a complimentary message. Yogurt. Less than 111,111 sent a red packet with a complimentary message. Ice cream. Chapter 309. After thanking Juice, Expert and Tide in the group chat, Yao intentionally ignored less than 111,111 and switched her phone to silent mode before going to sleep. She had a lesson at 8 the next morning, so she woke up at 6:30. As there was still plenty of time, she didn't wake up immediately to wash up. Instead, she picked up her phone. There were quite a few notifications on WeChat. Who would be sending me messages in the middle of the night? Perplexed, Yao tapped into WeChat and realized that all of her unread messages were from the sexy and frisky group. Tapping on the top of the list of unread messages, the first thing that caught her eye was a message from less than 111,111. Less than 111,111, squinting eyes face Yao loves ice cream. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yao's hand trembled, and her phone nearly slipped from her fingers and smashed into her face. Mr. Numbers actually apologized to me? Yao rubbed her eyes to make sure that her eyes weren't playing tricks on her before she calmed her frightened heart and continued reading. Less than 111,111. I didn't blacklist you. I wasn't paying attention this afternoon, and my pet accidentally touched my phone screen and blacklisted you. Less than 111,111. I've already removed you from my blacklist. May I ask if I can remove you from your blacklist as well? Juice. Boss, is the pet you're talking about Peppa Pig? Less than 111,111. It's Peppa Pig who blacklisted Sis Yao. So, Mr. Numbers didn't blacklist her because she killed him? So, it was all a misunderstanding. But then again, Mr. Numbers actually has a pet? If the name is Peppa Pig, could it be that his pet is a pig? While thinking about how unique Mr. Numbers' taste was, Yao continued scrolling down the chat history. Mr. Numbers contacted her again and sent her an apology. Perhaps because she hadn't appeared in the chat for a long time, Juice and Expert had also sent her a message. Yao wasn't a petty person to begin with. She was indeed a little displeased when she realized that Mr. Numbers had blacklisted her last night, but after reading the reason behind it, she had already moved on from the matter. Seeing that they hadn't slept in the group for the entire night, she couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. Without looking at the rest of the messages, Yao typed out a message and sent it into the group. Yao loves ice cream. Well, I slept last night. No one paid attention to her. Yao thought that it was probably because everyone was still sleeping, so she went back to reading the unfinished messages. In the end, all he saw was a series of red packets. They were all sent by 111111. Jelly, pudding, donuts, juice, yogurt, ice cream. She liked all of them. Staring at the screen, Yao gulped down a mouthful of saliva. She didn't accept the red packet. Instead, she released 111,111 from her blacklist and sent 111,111 a private message with a silly smile emoji. Considering how late they had slept last night, it was unlikely that Mr. Numbers would be replying to her message anytime soon. With such thoughts in mind, Yao climbed out of bed and went to wash up. When she came out of the bathroom, she took a look at the time and saw that there was an unread WeChat message. Tapping on it, she saw that it was a message from 111,111. Good morning. Mr. Numbers slept so late last night, but he actually woke up so early today? While Shi Yao was still deep in thought, 111,111 sent another message. Why didn't you accept the red packets in the group? Shi Yao typed a reply. I'll accept your apology, but there's no need for the red packets. 111,111. So, you're still angry? Yao loves ice cream. No, I haven't been angry for a long time. 111,111. Since that's the case, I'll accept the red packets. Shi Yao was rendered speechless. Are all tycoons forcing others to accept their money like this? Chapter 310. Shi Yao's speechlessness only lasted for a short 10 seconds. In these 10 seconds, less than 111,111 sent 3 consecutive messages. Why aren't you accepting the red packets yet? Are you still angry? Looking at the messages on the screen, Shi Yao thought this is probably what they mean by hard to turn down. So she'd hard to turn down the sexy and frisky WeChat group and accepted all of the red packets. Every single red packet had a maximum value of 200 renminbi. As a result, Shi Yao's WeChat wallet, which had already been reduced to a single digit, suddenly had a balance of 1,202 renminbi. 1,200 renminbi. This sum really put a lot of pressure on her. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao sent a private message to less than 111,111. The red packets are really big. I'm feeling a little uneasy. It was hard to tell whether Mr. Numbers was asleep or busy with something else, but it took a long while before Shi Yao received his message. Less than 111,111. It'll be fine once you get used to it. It'll be fine once you get used to it. What does that mean? Is he saying that once I get used to accepting his red packets, I won't feel uneasy anymore? But the two of them were only online friends and they had never met in real life. There was no reason for him to keep sending her red packets. So, it was likely that he was just casually saying it, so there was no need for her to think too much of it. Since she had already accepted the red packets, Shi Yao felt bad about not replying to Mr. Numbers' message. After a moment of contemplation, she explained why she had blacklisted Mr. Numbers last night. I thought that you blacklisted me because I killed you, so I blacklisted you too. I really didn't know that it was you. I thought that it was a robot. After receiving Shi Yao's message, Lin Jie, who hadn't slept for the entire night, suddenly felt drowsy. As Shi Yao had been sending him messages non-stop, he could only force himself to chat with her. However, when he heard that she thought that the person she killed was a robot, his drowsiness immediately dissipated. Soft Bun actually thought that he was a robot. Without any hesitation, Lin Jie replied, I was distracted so I couldn't focus on my game. Upon seeing 111,111's message, Shi Yao immediately recalled the conversation between Juice and Peppa Pig in the group chat last night. She quickly typed on her keyboard and replied, Is it your pet that's causing trouble? Lin Jie was taken aback for a moment before he realized that the pet Shi Yao was referring to was Peppa Pig. But Peppa Pig was her. Just as Lin Jie was wondering how he should reply to Shi Yao's message, she sent him another message. Is your pet a cat or a dog? It's called Peppa Pig. Could it be a pig? I also want to raise a cat or a dog, but I'm afraid I can't be responsible. Will your Peppa Pig pee and poop everywhere? Young lady, I don't know how to answer this question of yours. On the other end of the call, Shi Yao, who had no idea who Peppa Pig was still sending a message to Lin Jie. Isn't it cute and fun to play with? Yes, it was cute, but it was fun. How should he play it? As if choking on his words, Lin Jie stared at his phone screen for a very long time before replying, She's pretty cute. Due to class, Shi Yao didn't manage to reply to 111,111's WeChat in time. It was only during the break between classes that she took a look at her phone and noticed that less than 111,111 had sent her a new message as well. Less than 111,111. Well, I have a question for you. Do you know the famous figure of G University Lin Jie? Why would Mr. Numbers suddenly ask me this question? Shi Yao replied honestly, I do. Then she added, what's wrong? Less than 111,111. What do you think of him? Chapter 311. Less than 111,111. What do you think of him? The questions that Mr. Numbers was asking were getting weirder and weirder. Shouldn't a man like him be concerned about how a girl was doing? Why would he be concerned about how another man was doing? The more Sure Yao thought about it, the more perplexed she felt. Lin Jieji was indeed a popular figure in Ji University. Just from what Tian Jiang Yu and the others had told her, she knew just how popular Lin Jieji was among the girls in the university. Just 2 days ago during the examinations she even saw a girl inviting him out for a meal. Could it be that Mr. Numbers had feelings for Lin Jieji? With such thoughts in mind, Sure Yao immediately replied less than 111,111's message. Initially, Lin Jieji only wanted to change the topic because he couldn't bear to see Sure Yao continue talking about Peppa Pig. Perhaps it was because he hadn't slept all night, or perhaps it was because he rarely chatted with girls, but his thoughts were a little muddled. He couldn't think of a better topic even after thinking for a long while. Eventually he thought that he could make use of this opportunity to understand Sure Yao's impression of him, so he changed the topic to him. After successfully sending the question, what do you think of him? Lin Jieji suddenly felt a little nervous. This kind of nervousness was something he had never felt in his entire life. It was mixed with a little anticipation and a little fear. After waiting for a long while his phone finally responded. Lin Jieji quickly picked up his phone and saw Sure Yao's message. It can't be that Lin Jieji is your Enchanting, right? What the heck? What kind of relationship do I have with Enchanting? Without thinking too much about it, Lin Jieji replied with a question mark. Question mark. This time it didn't take long for Sure Yao to respond. What I mean is that it can't be that you have feelings for Lin Jieji, right? Lin Jieji was stunned for 2 seconds before he finally understood what Sure Yao was getting at. She was thinking that he liked Lin Jieji. So when she said that Lin Jieji was your Enchanting, she was referring to him being tainted by himself? Just what in the world was Soft Bun's head filled with? Taking a deep breath, Lin Jieji suppressed the urge to pry open Sure Yao's head and replied to her via WeChat. What are you thinking about? Yao loves ice cream, so you're not asking me this question because you like him? Even if the other party was him and he truly loved her, he couldn't allow Soft Bun to think that he liked men. With this thought in mind, Lin Jieji replied without any hesitation, of course not. My sexual orientation is very straight. If Mr. Numbers were to deny that he didn't like Lin Jieji, why did he have to say that his sexual orientation was normal? Sure Yao felt a little embarrassed as she replied, then why are you asking me this question? 111,111. Isn't he very popular in school? That's why I suddenly thought of asking. Indeed, Lin Jieji was indeed very popular in Ji University. There were many times when she was eating in the canteen, and she could hear the girls around her talking about him. Just that even a man like Mr. Numbers had a gossipy side to him. With such thoughts in mind, Sure Yao typed. So that's the case, Lin Jieji? Sure Yao tilted her head to the side and pondered for a moment. She recalled how Expert had asked Mr. Numbers if her voice was nice, and Mr. Numbers' reply made her feel that this was a suitable topic for her. Thus she continued typing. Let's go with that. Chapter 312. Ding dong. Lin Jieji's phone rang by his ear, and he immediately opened his eyes to pick it up. That Lin Jieji. Upon seeing Sure Yao's message, Lin Jieji instinctively held his breath. He paused for roughly 3 seconds before he slowly moved his gaze to read the message. Just like that. Lin Jieji felt as if someone had smacked him in the head and his mind went completely blank. It took him a long while before he finally blinked his eyes lightly, and his thoughts began to return. Lin Jieji. Just like that. Just like that. Is he just like that in Soft Bun's heart? He admitted that he had said a lot of nasty things to her back then, so it was normal for her to have a bad impression of him. However, he had been treating her really well recently. Even if it wasn't 100 points, it should at least be at least 90 points. Alright, even if it wasn't 90 points, at the very least he should at least be at least 80 points, right? He said that was it. Could it be that she didn't even have 70 points? Lin Jiege really couldn't accept Shi Yao's evaluation of him. He tried his best to calm his emotions down before replying to Shi Yao's message. You're being too perfunctory. Can you be more specific? Yao loves ice cream. More specific? He's handsome, has good grades, and comes from a prestigious family. And in any case, he's the kind of guy that many girls like. Finally, there's something nice to say. Lin Jiege's heart calmed down a little and he asked, what about you? Is he the kind of guy you like? Or rather, if you were to give him a score out of 100, what score would you give him? Mr. Numbers seemed to be a little too nosy. To think that he would even ask if Lin Jiege was the guy she liked. Like? Shi Yao bit on her left thumb as she tilted her head in contemplation. To Lin Jiege, he didn't wish for others to know that they were engaged. Even though they could be considered as friends at the moment, he probably didn't want her to talk too much about him either. As for liking him, that shouldn't be a word between the two of them, right? Shi Yao pondered for a moment before replying to 111,111's WeChat. Yao loves ice cream. To be honest, I do know him, but we're not that close. Not that close. Upon seeing those words, Lin Jiege abruptly sprang up from his bed. In an instant he was no longer sleepy. Not that close. In Soft Bun's heart, I'm not that close to her? His phone vibrated again and a new message appeared on the screen. Yao loves ice cream. How should I put this? It's just that we can more or less be considered friends. Just barely. Lin Jiege had always been fond of using these words, but this was the first time that he found them to be extremely harsh and piercing. Completely unaware of Lin Jiege's current situation, Shi Yao was still sending him messages. Yao loves ice cream. I think that he's a decent person. If you're going to give him a score, it's just for me and not anyone else. I think that he should be able to get 60 points. 60 points? The low score far exceeded his expectations, causing Lin Jiege's face to turn a little pale. Chapter 313. While the word not bad was a little irksome at times, the word not bad still allowed him to find a sense of balance. It seemed like Soft Bun's impression of him wasn't hopelessly bad after all. I knew that I'd at least get 80 points. Just as Lin Jiege was rejoicing over his luck, Shi Yao's message appeared on the screen once more. Yao loves ice cream. After some thought, I think I'll give him 70 points. Yao loves ice cream. I still think that 70 points is a little on the high side. Forget it, I'll compromise a little and give him 65 points. Yao loves ice cream. Let me tell you a secret. If I were to give him a score in the past, I'd definitely give him minus 100 points. No, I'd say minus 1,000 points. Yao loves ice cream. But now, on account of the delicious food, I'll give him a passing mark. Shi Yao's 4 consecutive messages left Lin Jiege in a daze. 70 points. It's actually only 70 points. Isn't this a little too low? 65 points? And it's just barely passable. It's really not even 70 points. Minus 1,000 points. Was he really that bad in her heart in the past? And his passing mark was earned through delicious food. His existence in her heart was actually inferior to that of delicious food? Lin Jiege had no idea what was going on with him, but his mood had suddenly plummeted to an unprecedented low. He thought that he could finally sleep peacefully after being released from her blacklist, but now he couldn't fall asleep at all. He didn't respond to Shi Yao's message. Instead, he sat quietly on his bed for a while before lying down and staring blankly at the ceiling for a long time. It took a while before a new thought surfaced in his mind. It's only natural that Soft Bun doesn't have a good impression of me, right? Who asked me to be so arrogant back then? Actually, it doesn't really matter, does it? After all, Soft Bun's current impression of me isn't hopelessly bad. After all, I still have 65 points. It was fortunate that he was smart enough not to expose his identity as less than 111,111. Given that he had 2 identities at the moment, even if Lin Jiege was out of the question, he still had less than 111,111. He didn't believe that either of his identities would be able to achieve the perfection that Soft Bun had in mind. Even though Lin Jiege had been trying his best to console himself, he still couldn't help but feel a stifling sensation in his chest. Seemed like this was the first time in his life that he cared so much about the impression he left in someone's heart, right? It's impossible for me to fall asleep. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiej got off the bed, took a shower and switched on his laptop to work on his project. Shi Yao's life hadn't changed much in the past few days. If she really wanted to find something to change, then there were really two things. The first thing she noticed was that the number of girls chasing after Lin Jiej seemed to be increasing lately. From calling her once every 2 days to get her to dispose of the confessions and snacks that the girls had given him, it grew to once a day, then twice a day, and today, it had even broken through to thrice a day. Chapter 3:14. In the blink of an eye, it was another Friday. After finishing her morning lessons, Shi Yao had her lunch at the canteen. Glancing at the blinding sunlight outside the window, she decided to head back home when the sun set. Shortly after returning to her dormitory room, Shi Yao received a message on her phone. It was from less than 111,111 inviting her to a game. Shi Yao wasn't sleepy, so she didn't have the urge to take an afternoon nap. Considering that there were still a few more hours before she had to return home, she accepted Mr. Number's invitation, logged into the game and entered the room he had shared with her. Juice and Expert weren't around. Shi Yao had been asking them about it in the group chat, but they said that they were busy revising and preparing for their exams. So after putting on her earphones, Shi Yao casually asked, "Are Juice and Expert still busy revising?" Mr. Numbers replied with an before falling silent. Even though the two of them were spending more time playing than before, Mr. Numbers still didn't like to talk much. However, compared to the past when Mr. Numbers switched off his microphone was now on whenever he played with Shi Yao. Even if the two of them weren't talking, Shi Yao could still hear the occasional faint sounds coming from his side through the earphones. On the third round, a female voice suddenly spoke from Mr. Numbers' side. "The fruits are here." Mr. Numbers didn't respond. The female voice didn't respond either. Even though it was through the phone, Shi Yao could still tell that the female voice belonged to a middle-aged man. It was only because of the word fruits that Shi Yao asked, "Are you at home?" Less than 111,111. Shi Yao, was the person who brought the fruits to you earlier your mother? Less than 111,111. No, it's the auntie at home. Shi Yao replied with an "oh." 5 seconds later, she suddenly realized something and asked, "Are you from Beijing?" Less than 111,111 replied with an before replying with a yes. While he was speaking, he even killed someone in the game. Shi Yao replied casually, "What a coincidence. I'm from Beijing too, but my house is in the suburbs. What about you?" Less than 111,111 gave her a rough location. Shi Yao was astonished. Mr. Number's house was actually in the same area as Lin Jiej's. When it was around 5 o'clock, Shi Yao finally logged off and Lin Jiej stopped playing. He closed his eyes and rested for a while. Then he found his computer and continued with his unfinished project. At around 7 o'clock, a maid called him for dinner. He put down his laptop and when he headed down the stairs, he sent a message to Shi Yao. "Are you home yet?" Shi Yao didn't respond to him. He didn't mind either. After dinner, Lin Jiej took a stroll in the courtyard. When he returned, he took out his phone and sent Shi Yao a WeChat message. "Are you done eating? Are you playing games?" Shi Yao continued to ignore him. Bored, he watched the television for a while longer before whipping out his phone and sending Shi Yao a WeChat message. "Call me when you're done with your work." There was still no reply from Shi Yao. This time Lin Jiej didn't do anything else to pass the time. Instead he logged into the game only to see that Shi Yao was actually online. Then he sent a message to Shi Yao in the game. "Pull me after this round." He didn't log out of the game. Instead he waited until Shi Yao's game was over before he took the initiative to form a party with her. After a long while, Shi Yao finally agreed to his request. As he put on his earphones, he replied with a hello. Right after he said those words, the microphone icon next to Shi Yao's name lit up, and a male voice sounded in his ears, "Hello." Chapter 3:15. Right after he said those words, the microphone icon next to Shi Yao's name lit up, and a male voice sounded in his ears, Hello? As it was a singled hello, Lin Jiege thought that it was a reply from him, so he asked once more, "Are you there?" I'm here. Yao loves ice cream replied. The voice from the other end of the earpiece was still that of a man. Lin Jiege abruptly froze in his tracks. This time, the voice from the other end of the earpiece was completely different from what he had said, so he didn't even have the chance to respond like before. His mind was completely blank, as if he had been struck dumb. On the other end of the game, after waiting for a long while without receiving a reply, Shi Yao's voice sounded once more. Hey, can you hear me? Can you hear me? The clear voice of the man crashed into Lin Jiege's eardrums. A moment later, Lin Jiege's eyes slowly darted around, and before he knew what he was supposed to do, he had already spoken. Who are you? By the time he was done speaking, he realized that his tone was terrifyingly foreign. It was cold and filled with rage, and there was a slight tremble in his voice. The man who had logged into Shi Yao's account replied swiftly. Perhaps because he had sensed that Lin Jiege's tone was unpleasant, his words were also very direct. And who are you? And who am I? I'll be the owner of the game I log into in the future, the closest person in the world. Lin Jiege's eyes turned a little cold. Who I am isn't important. What's important is why are you logging into her account? Speaking up to this point, Lin Jiege suddenly recalled how Shi Yao hadn't replied to any of his WeChat messages. This was something that had never happened before. Could she have lost her phone on her way home? With this thought in mind, Lin Jiege spoke up once more. Did you pick up her phone? Name a price. How much are you willing to pay for your phone? The man, bro, is your brain all right? Which eye of yours saw that I picked up her phone? Let me tell you, I don't even need to pick up this phone. I can use it whenever I want. This was the first time Lin Jiege had seen someone acting so righteously after picking up someone else's belongings. Lin Jiege had never been on the losing end in a battle of words. There's no need for you to spout such arrogant words to me. You should save it for the police. You sure are funny. Putting aside the fact that I don't know the account owner, you're just an online friend in the game. You're an insignificant existence to the account owner, so why do you care so much about it? You're such a jokester, aren't you? An insignificant existence? Talking about him? You must be joking. How could he possibly be an insignificant existence to Soft Bun? Lin Jiege was just about to retort back, but before he could say anything, the male voice sounded from the earpiece once more. Do you know who the account owner is? Do you know how old this account owner is? Do you know the phone number of the caller? Where do you live? You don't know any of this, do you? Although he didn't know what he was panicking about. After an unknown amount of time, his phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, but he couldn't see who it was. It wasn't until he answered the call absent-mindedly and heard the person on the other end telling him the address and inviting him out to play that he finally realized that the caller was Liang Jusi. When he hung up the phone, he inadvertently glanced at the mirror in front of him. He was wearing a white t-shirt. His face was clean and his clothes were neat and tidy. However, he felt as if his whole body was emitting a green light. Chapter 317. Lin Jiege stared at his reflection in the mirror for a very long time. It was only when his face was so green that it was almost as green as his face that he retracted his gaze and entered his changing room. He usually liked to wear white clothes, but there were quite a few clothes of other colors in his wardrobe. Most of these clothes were bought by his mother or sister, and most of them didn't even have their tags cut off. Under normal circumstances, Lin Jiege wouldn't pay attention to these clothes. However, while he was tidying up his hair, he caught a glimpse of a green t-shirt hanging in the wardrobe behind him through the mirror. Why would such a color appear in his room? Lin Jiege hesitated for 2 seconds before he walked over to the wardrobe and pulled down the green t-shirt. Following which, he saw a camouflage uniform next to it. There were light green, dark green, and even grayish green on it. Frowning, Lin Jiege pulled down that camouflage uniform as well. After which, he carefully searched around his changing room and took out all of the clothes that had a hint of green in them. Just as Lin Jiege was about to head out with the clothes in his arms, he suddenly thought for a moment before returning to the changing room. Amidst the pile of clothes he found the greenest t-shirt and swapped it for the white t-shirt he was wearing. After which he carried the clothes downstairs once more. As soon as Lin George arrived at the living room, a maid came out from the kitchen with a platter of fruits in her hands. She was just about to bring it up to Lin George's room. The moment the maid saw Lin George, she subconsciously wanted to say, "Young master, have some fruits." But before she could say anything, she saw the green t-shirt Lin George was wearing and the pile of clothes of different shades of green in his embrace. The maid was stunned for a full 10 seconds before she looked at Lin George with a perplexed expression and asked, "Young master, what are you doing?" Without saying a word, Lin George walked over to the entrance, opened the door and tossed the clothes in his embrace outside. "Young master, those clothes are still fine. Why did you throw them away?" the maid asked anxiously. She placed the platter of fruits on the table by the side before walking out of the room to pick up the clothes. Lin George opened the shoe cabinet, and when he was taking out his shoes he saw a few pairs of shoes with a hint of green on them, so he took them out and tossed them outside as well. Even his favorite white shoes were thrown out without any hesitation because there was a little green on the back of them. As he threw them away, he said to the servant outside the door, "Find a place to deal with these things. In short, don't appear in my sight again." After saying those words, Lin George checked the shoe cabinet to ensure that there was nothing wrong with his remaining shoes before putting them on. "Young master, it's already so late. Are you still going out?" Lin George ignored the maid. "I've already cut the fruits for you. There are some imported apples from New Zealand that you said were delicious. Do you want to eat some before you go out?" Upon hearing the word apple, Lin George abruptly halted his footsteps and asked, "Who told you to cut an apple for me? When did I say that apples taste better? I hate eating apples the most. Don't let me see apples at home in the future. Also, what's that green color on the mural? Throw it away." The servant turned pale with fright. "You can't do that, young master. Sir spent a lot of money to get it from the auction." Chapter 318. The maid had never seen such an unreasonable young master before, and she replied fearfully, "Those are the flowers that young miss ordered this morning." "Are those flowers? Aren't flowers supposed to be flowers? Why are there so many green leaves? Does this florist think that green leaves are cheap so they're using them to scam their customers? Which florist ordered them from? I'm going to give them a bad review. Later on, remove all the green leaves in the vase. Just leave the flowers there." As Lin George spoke, he pointed to other parts of the room and said, "Also, what kind of flower is that? It's so green that it hurts my eyes. I'll throw it away too." The maid replied, "That won't do, young master. That's a plant that old Mister has been raising for many years. We can't throw it away. Since we can't throw it away, we'll just store it in the basement." Lin George didn't care whether the plants could survive in the absence of sunlight or not. After helping the servant figure out a path for the plants, he pointed to a pair of earrings placed in a small box on the shoe cabinet at the entrance and asked, "What's this? Why is it so green?" As he spoke, Lin George reached out to grab it. Fearing that he would throw it away, the maid hurriedly snatched the earrings away before he could. "Young master, you can't throw this away either. These are Madame's jade earrings, her dowry. They're from the Qing dynasty and they're extremely expensive. If you throw them away, Madame will lecture you to death. She even changed my name to Green George when she lectured me." Lin George spat those words at the servant before turning around and walking away. On the way to the garage, he thought furiously, "Dowry? Things from the Qing dynasty are very expensive. Could it be a fake? Just look at that scary green color. Even if you offered him money, he wouldn't want it." Liang Jusi would invite Lin George out to play almost every weekend. Over the past 2 weeks, Lin George had been busy playing games with Shi Yao, so he rejected Liang Jusi without hesitation. Tonight, when he arrived at the place Liang Jusi mentioned, Liang Jusi was stunned to see him. "Brother Jia, you're finally doting on me. Doting your head. Why have such weird taste?" Lin George shot a sidelong glance at Liang Jusi before walking over to the sofa and sitting down. The suite that Liang Jusi had booked was only lit up with a few colorful lights, so the lighting was extremely dim. As such, it was only when Lin George walked up to Liang Jusi that Liang Jusi realized that Lin George was wearing a green t-shirt. His eyes widened in astonishment once more as he exclaimed, "Brother Jia, You've been a hermit for quite some time recently. Did your sense of beauty really change so much? This time, Lin Jierge didn't even spare Liang Juxi a glance as he picked up a cocktail on the table. Just as he was about to open his mouth to drink, he realized that the cocktail was light green. There was a slice of green lemon on the side of the bottle and a green mint leaf floating on top of the wine. Lin Jierge abruptly shut his mouth and tossed the cocktail back onto the table. Why aren't you drinking? This is their new cocktail. It's very delicious, Liang Juxi asked in confusion. If you want to drink, drink it yourself. Lin Jierge glanced at the table in front of him and saw a green wine bottle, a green wine glass, green grapes, and an apple. The apple was clearly freshly washed and there were still water droplets on it. So, was this the scene when Soft Bun washed the apple for that man earlier? Lin Jierge pondered for a moment before turning to the dumpling-eating female student and saying, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can you not look at your phone and focus on eating your dumplings? The young lady was taken aback by Lin Jierge's suggestion, but she didn't turn him down. Nodding her head, she put away her phone and focused on eating her dumplings. Lin Jierge stared at the young lady for less than 3 seconds before shaking his head. It still didn't give him the same feeling as when Soft Bun was eating wontons. Or was the scene not right? Lin Jierge lowered his gaze and pondered for a moment before asking, is there any female student here who's willing to help me out? Chapter 320. Lin Jierge wasn't in a hurry to reply. Instead, he scanned the ladies in the room one by one before his eyes finally stopped on the most beautiful lady. This lady was quite good-looking, just that she wasn't as pretty as Soft Bun. But there was no helping it. She was the most beautiful lady he could find, so he had to make do with her. With this thought in mind, Lin Jierge asked politely, are you all right with it? The girl nodded and looked very happy. Sure. Lin Jierge nodded as he thought back to the time when Shi Yao was taking her examination. He had stood before the window and looked into Shi Yao's eyes. And after that he had briefly explained his request to the young lady. Even though the lady had no idea what Lin Jierge was up to, she still followed his instructions. Lin Jierge and the lady stared at one another quietly. Following his instructions, the lady winked at him from time to time. 30 seconds passed. Lin Jierge realized that his heart was as calm as still water, and he didn't feel anything at all. A minute passed. Lin Jierge didn't feel like the lady was flirting at all. A minute and 30 seconds passed. Not only did Lin Jierge not feel seduced at all, he even felt a little tired of this lady's beauty. In less than 2 minutes, Lin Jierge finally gave up. He asked once more, can I trouble you to help me eat another apple? The girl nodded her head in confusion. Lin Jierge shot a glance at the equally confused Liang Juxi and said, help me get the waiter to bring an apple over. Lin Jierge paused for a moment before adding, the bigger the apple, the better. Soon the apple was brought over. Lin Jierge gestured for the lady to focus on eating the apple. After the lady nodded, Lin Jierge stared at her intently. That young lady was really eating the apple earnestly, but Lin Jierge couldn't find the urge to snap a photo of Soft Bun eating an apple back in his grandfather's ward and preserve it forever. Could it be that the light wasn't bright enough? After all, the sun was really bright that day. After a moment of contemplation, Lin Jierge called for the waiter to switch on the lights in the room. He stared at the lady for a while longer, but it was to no avail. Lin Jierge frowned. He pondered for a moment longer before asking the lady once more, one last favor. Can you act as though you've been wronged? The girl thought and revealed an expression. Like this? Lin Jierge thought back to the time when 2 girls were bad-mouthing Shi Yao at the Golden Resplendence, and he recalled her reaction when she overheard it. Thus, he described it to the 2 girls in detail. Lower your head a little and purse your lips a little more. Yes, that's it. Lin Jierge stared at her face for a minute, but he still couldn't find the heartache he felt when Shi Yao revealed such an expression back then. Could it be that the girl's makeup was too thick? Shi Yao had always been barefaced, so it affected him. Lin Jierge pondered for a moment before suggesting, can you remove your makeup? A conflicted look surfaced on the young lady's face, but perhaps because it was Lin Jie's suggestion, she reluctantly nodded her head in agreement. The young lady was indeed quite beautiful. After removing her makeup she seemed a little young, and Lin Jie found her even more pleasing to the eye. But despite the aggrieved look on her face, Lin Jie still couldn't find the heartache he felt for her. Liang Jixi finally couldn't take it anymore and asked, "Brother Jia, what are you up to?" As if he hadn't heard Liang Jixi's words, Lin Jie continued staring fixedly at the young lady who was removing her makeup, and as he stared at her, two words came out of his mouth, "It's over." Chapter 321. As if he hadn't heard Liang Jixi's words, Lin Jie continued to stare fixedly at the young lady who was removing her makeup, and as he stared at her, two words came out of his mouth, "It's over." What? Liang Jixi couldn't understand what Lin Jie meant at all. What's over? Lin Jie was too immersed in his thoughts to respond to Liang Jixi. Retracting his gaze from the young lady, he took out his phone, tapped into his photo album and found the photo he had taken of Shi Yao munching on an apple. With just a glance, he realized that his heart, which had been as calm as stagnant water, had begun beating once more. He had been staring at that young lady for so long, but the feeling that he couldn't find was easily found in this still photo. Lin Jie raised his hand to touch his chest, and after feeling the beating of his heart he muttered once more, "It's over, it's really over." "Brother Jia, what are you saying? I don't understand at all. What do you mean by it's over? Also, what are you looking at?" As Liang Jixi spoke, he moved closer to Lin Jie's phone screen. Before he could look at Lin Jie's phone screen, Lin Jie had already locked his phone. Ignoring Liang Jixi, Lin Jie continued on his train of thought, "I've been poisoned, I've really been poisoned." Poisoned? Liang Jixi's voice rose by several decibels. "What kind of poison? But I can see that your complexion is not bad." "Soft bun." Lin Jie muttered those two words softly. His voice was a little soft so Liang Jixi couldn't hear it clearly. All he heard was the last two words, "Bun? What bun? You want to eat bun? What kind of filling? I can buy it for you right now." Before Liang Jixi could finish his rambling, Lin Jie's lips moved once more. "Song Chaoshi is right, she's right, and the rest of you are right too." Song Chaoshi said that the most direct manifestation of liking someone was the desire to sleep with them. Soft Bun said that his various actions were indicative of liking someone. Back then he thought that since they said that he liked someone he should just take it as that. It wasn't until tonight that he realized that they were right. He liked her, the kind of genuine heartfelt love. He liked Soft Bun. Even though he didn't know when this feeling had started and even though he didn't know when it started, he had fallen in love with her. Although he found out about this feeling a little late, it was real. With this thought in mind, Lin Jie added, "I've really been poisoned by Soft Bun." "What? Was he poisoned by steamed bun? Is it because it's too hot in the summer and the stuffing is spoiled? Did you get food poisoning? You still have to go to the hospital for a checkup." Liang Jixi started nagging again. Finally snapping out of his thoughts, Lin Jie heard the latter half of Liang Jixi's long-winded words, and with a slight frown on his forehead, he tossed out an "I'll be leaving first" before taking his leave, ignoring Liang Jixi's questions and persuasion. He walked over to the roadside and got into the car. After sitting in the car for a moment, he stepped on the accelerator and aimlessly drove around Beijing. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.